Welcome, everyone, to the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man Show. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
Grumpy, how are you doing this fine Thursday evening? For
Good.
a nice
I heard you start to butcher the name of the podcast.
I came close. Close.
Very close.
But for those of you who are new to the show, welcome. This is a twice a week all sports podcast. It takes place every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. Again, as I mentioned, it's an all sports podcast. We talk anything sports and athletics. We talk NHL, world football, the NFL, college sports, college football, college basketball. We talk NBA, MLB, tennis. We talk anything and everything sports. So if you enjoy that type of content with a little bit of funny quips along the way, make sure to give us a little check out. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe and stick around a while. But today on the docket, we have a lot to talk about, Grump. It seems like every week is always that way. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the college football playoffs, those New Year's Day bowl games that were a joy to watch. We'll talk about Cristiano Ronaldo signing with Al Nassr, Grumpy. Who would have ever thought? But we're going to go ahead and talk about that, what it means for the future and what the plan is. The biggest contract on a year-by-year basis any professional athletes ever signed. So, there's a lot to talk about, Grumpy. There's also some rumors coming out of LSU that I know that you might not be privy to because you don't have social media, Grumpy, and it is trust me, it's a doozy, Grumpy. Kayshon Boutte. So we're going to talk about him, the wide receiver who is who's entering the NFL draft, but had a little bit of a back and forth there. The NFL, we're going to talk about Damar Hamlin going out there, looking like positive signs for him right now, and also impacts it has there. The game between Cincinnati and Buffalo just came out about 15 minutes ago, will be canceled. What type of implications does that have on who gets a first round bye, and much, much more? Oh, Novak Djokovic. I guess tennis, it took us a while to get there, but had some secret water that that was concocted that we'll talk about.
I'll tell you what. Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about. Now,
now here's the thing. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but it's like, dude, why do you have somebody from the crowd mixing up some potion for you to drink?
It's a member of his team, first off, and I'll let you watch it. It's about as, let me put you like this. It is about as suspicious and suspect as humanly possible. Any way that they could make it look suspect, they found a way. So we'll have a chance to talk about it. And I'll tell you what he says, right? He says it's a secret mixture he doesn't want to give away. But, they have like...
Why is he not prepping that before going out to the match?
Because it's got to be fresh. It's about half of a freshly squeezed lime juice. It is a fourth to half of a cup or half a teaspoon of sea salt or real salt and 2 tablespoons of raw honey. And I'll let you watch it and ask you if you think he's mixing up raw honey and squeezing a little lemon in there, that they got to keep it secret. They can't let anybody else see what's going on. We'll talk about it. It looks very, very suspicious. Let me put it to you like that.
I'll go with that.
So we're going to have some fun along the way. Absolutely today. Let's first talk, Grumpy, about the college football playoffs, right? We're going to have the big game. College football finals, Georgia against TCU. First off, I want to get your opinion. Who you think is going to be winning the college football playoffs, and or the college football finals, and we'll talk about the 2 semifinal games as well.
Go Dogs. It's got to be Georgia, right? They've been the best team all year.
It'd be a shame if they didn't win, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you saw in both of those games, Georgia and Ohio State and Michigan, TCU, the favorites came in, I think, a little bit thinking, we're the favorites and we're going to roll over these teams. And
I don't know. I always said, if remember on that podcast, I said Ohio State might shock you simply because, right, they got punched in the mouth, and it's kind of like that wake up and reality check. Oh yeah, shit, we're not that good. We need to make sure that we're really buttoned up and really hyper focused. Georgia had been playing a lot of teams closer than probably what they would have liked this season, the same way Ohio State did. I think that, Georgia best team all year long. It'd be a shame if they didn't win. The weakest portion of that team is the quarterback play. Got fantastic offensive line, fantastic defense across the board, fantastic wideouts, fantastic running backs, tight ends, etc. You name it. The weakest part of that team is quarterback play. So, I think that they're head over heels better than TCU. The fact that TCU beat Michigan, it was like whoever was saying their prayers, who says their prayers every night, Grumpy, they must have been saying about 100 or 200 prayers every single night. 2 pick sixes, J.J. McCarthy throws. They had broken plays for touchdowns, a little 8-yard, a little skinny, or a little 8-yard a little 8-yard route there for the wide receiver turns into a missed tackle, and he runs for another 70 yards after the catch. It was just anything that could go wrong and did go wrong was poorly executed by Michigan in that game.
The difference in that game is the 2 pick sixes, right? There's a difference in the game. And just busted plays by Michigan. You mentioned it.
Michigan fumbles on the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
I here's the thing, though. So many screw-ups that you forget that falls to the bottom of the list.
I've never seen 2 touchdown calls on the field get reviewed. The first one I thought was egregious. I thought he was in the end zone. The first one, even after review, the catch, and he was in the end zone. They said, well, he was down or whatever at the 1. No, I mean, you could say maybe, but it has to be indisputable to overturn. And I don't think that one was. Then they turn into the fumble, and that's that, right? I mean, Michigan's a better team than TCU. They are.
Michigan played better than even though Michigan was so sloppy. That was the sloppiest game I think I've seen out of a team that is a Final Four contender that has played great football all year long. That was about the sloppiest game Michigan could have played. And if you're a Michigan player, you're a Michigan coach, you have to be kicking yourself for the next, 8 months with how poor of a performance and showing that was.
But doesn't the NCAA, aren't they getting what they want? Every game in the high 40s, 50s, coming down to last possession? Every one.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. It takes something away from the game. When scoring is so easy, it's like now you look at it, well, who can make a stop? Where it always be, well, who could score? Can you drive down the field and score? Now it's like, oh, you left 40 seconds on the clock. Are they going to run out of time with no timeouts? Are they going to run out of time before they score a touchdown? It shouldn't be like that. I don't know. I just think football is they've totally changed the way the game is played. It's so easy for the offense. I think they need to let a little bit more physical play going around out in the wide receivers, out on the boundaries. I don't know. I'm not enjoying it as much as I used to. Let me just say that. Scoring used to be, used to celebrate scoring. Now it's like you celebrate a defensive stop.
It depends on how the team plays the momentum of the game. Grumpy, if you could, I don't know if you're hitting your cord or what you're doing on that side, but if you can adjust it, that would be great. I think you're hitting your cord where you're throwing your hands up and down and patting you on your lap, but I just want the sound to be clean and crisp. That being said, Grump, I think that is what the NFL want, or I'm sorry, it is what college football. Sure, you could throw the NFL and lump them together too, because it's the same thing the NFL is happening in the NFL and will happen in the NFL in the postseason, where it's not going to be, defensive battles or anything like that. Every single game is going to come down to pretty much the last possession. It's going to be a shootout. That's how the sport of football is moving towards. That's just what it is. But God almighty. Man, Michigan squandered their chances. I know that there was that questionable, right? Was it targeting at the end of the game for TCU? And this is the thing. I've noticed a reoccurring trend across all of the bowl games this year. Targeting that seems to be called game in and game out during the regular season was not called in any of the bowl games. You could go down the list, right? Maybe you could say, oh, that should have been a targeting against TCU, which maybe would have kept the drive alive. That guy maybe was getting tossed and he wouldn't be available for the next game. You looked at there's a questionable targeting call against a Tulane wide receiver. It didn't affect the outcome of the game because Tulane wound up winning, but that was definitely a targeting right at the end of the game. There perhaps was a targeting against Ohio State receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., but all these calls would have all been made during the regular season. Not a single one of them was made in the Not a single one of them was made during bowl games.
Okay, take targeting. I'm going to try to fix this thing. Take targeting out of the game. I don't want that even being a call anymore. Take the helmets off the players. You won't have a targeting penalty ever again. Just won't have it. Just not going to have it. Take the helmets off the players. You're going to limit concussions. You're going to cut out targeting. They're not going to lead with their heads if they're not wearing a helmet. Everyone will learn how to form tackle, not just block tackle. And I think the game will be better. Wouldn't you like to see the players' faces anyway? I would. If you want to put, old-timey leather helmets on them, just something, to say, hey, we're with this team. You want to stop that stuff? I know it's revolutionary. Take it away. The game it's too fast. It's too violent. And the guys use their heads as projectiles. Take the helmets off.
Are you saying it needs to be like rugby? Here's the thing. If you take the helmets off, you got to remove the pads too, right?
Yeah, why not? What the heck?
Okay. So Grumpy's going for take the rugby approach, just out there in shorts and a shirt and a kit. And, you're just conducting yourself in that manner.
Yeah. I got no problem with that at all.
You're going to see a lot of the guys who do get concussions where they think, and again, the reason that a lot of these, not all, but some of these concussions happen and some of these items, because people think right when you got a helmet on, cool, I'm impervious, I could just go ahead and light you up.
That's right.
That's what they think. Now, when you don't have the helmet on, you're much more cautious, and you're not going to be like, I'm tentative out there on the field, but you're much more measured when you throw your body in there, because it's like, I don't have anything to protect my head. When you get that helmet on, sometimes people think that I'm impervious, and they're not.
Right. And we'll talk about Monday night also, right?
Well, that's different. That's different.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If T. Higgins isn't wearing a helmet, he's not going to lower his head into the chest of the tackler. Just not going to do that. Okay. Here's the thing. You played the game, TJ. It's
like apples to oranges right now with the comparison you're trying to make. It's a bad one.
I don't think so.
Okay. Here's the thing. It was a freak injury. I've never seen it.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I'm not trying to, before we jump that way, because I want to still finish the college football playoffs, Grumpy. I want to still talk about that. And then we can move on to the Monday night. But I want to hit everything with a swoop there. I want to talk about the targeting, and then we'll move there to the NFL. But
I tell you, I'd get rid of targeting. Very easy. Take the helmets off the players. They're not going to lead with their heads. They're not going to target heads. They're not going to do that, because when you put the pads on, you put the helmet on. Those helmets are so, I don't want to say well made, but it's not like the olden days. They certainly can withstand more impact. They just use them as a weapon. Yeah. And when you played, if you used to butt heads with people, if you didn't have a helmet on, would you be banging heads with people?
Offensive linemen have to. You're going to make contact with your head. You're going to make contact like that all the time because you're an offensive lineman. But you're not going to be as prone, especially a lot of the concussions that occur, like a linebacker coming down, hitting a running back, or hitting wide receivers and corners, or guys that are hitting an open field when you're colliding. Offensive line, defensive line, you're about here to here, boop, and you're ramming into each other. I mean, like, you're going to see the form of the sport would be a lot more crisp, and maybe not, the NFL, the form across the board is very, very crisp, but at the lower levels in college and other items like that, you're going to see the form is going to be much more pertinent, Grumpy.
And here's the thing. Once you learn at a young level how to tackle the correct way, the whole way up, how many guys wrap tackle anymore? They just don't do it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'll show the first one here, Grumpy. Now, I'm not sure if you got to watch the one from Tulane. I thought this was the most egregious one. And this, when I see that the targeting calls are not being called, right, it goes back to, I don't really think any of these organizations care about the safety of the players. That's where I come from. It's not that, it could have, I think that some of them could have had different outcomes in the game, but they try to preach that they care so much about player safety. In reality, I think it's a facade. I think they're just trying to do that for optics, and I think that they really could care less about player safety. Now, this one was a hit where both players were concussed. Both players were ruled ineligible to play for the remainder of the game. And just to give you an update, let me remove the banner so you can see what I'm talking about here, Grumpy. The situation is Tulane's down 39 to 45, down by 6 points with 22 seconds left. So, right, Tulane's got to score a touchdown and hit an extra point in order to win this game. Now, I'll let you watch the hit real time and see what you think. Is this a potential targeting, Grumpy?
Maybe on the other end. His lineman's leg on spiking the ball. On the slant. Caught
No. No.
You think no?
No.
Afterwards,
Just a bang bang play. Guy
A
catches the
bang-bang
ball, he's got to
play
make a tackle, right?
where the safety made helmet-to-helmet contact on the side of
No.
the Tulane
I'm just
receiver's head.
no, he was not targeting. It might be helmet to helmet, but he was not targeting him. I
Oh,
think there's a
Jesus
difference. He's got to make a tackle there. Sorry, let you run in. No, it was not. I did not think that was targeting. No.
Okay. The issue I've got with it is here's
the thing: when you see these officials go 5 minutes review, if you look at something 30 seconds, you get 30 seconds to make a decision. Otherwise, the call on the field stands. Period. And that those are just things that it's just instant replays ruining the game. All the reviewing is ruining the game.
I'll let you watch it. They were talking about this was clear-cut targeting during the – look at this. Boom. I mean, like the helmet – stop.
No. He's just trying to make a tackle. He's got his arms out. He's not leading with his head. The guy just fell into him. That's not targeting. No.
Is that like if somebody like they come beating in the work, you say they fell down the stairs? Is that what happened?
He was not targeting him. I disagree. He's not targeting him. Absolutely not.
I don't know. It's geared towards a hit towards the head the entire way. If you're not hitting in the crown, if you're not hitting him in the front of the helmet, you're hitting him right in the freaking face mask because that's where his tackle's made.
His body is dropping. He's lowered his shoulder. He's coming down to make a tackle. He's coming across. It's not targeting. It's not targeting.
It's targeting a defenseless. It's a defenseless receiver, right?
He wasn't defenseless. He made a catch and he's starting to run.
By the way, the rule's written, Grump.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
I disagree. We'll just agree to disagree on that because to me it's not. His body's lowered. The Tulane guy ducks into him and he gets clipped.
Here's the thing: helmet to helmet wasn't called either. Nothing was called on this play.
Shouldn't have been a penalty.
Okay,
no penalty. Cool. Nothing.
So helmet to helmet contact doesn't exist anymore, and that's not a penalty anymore in the league. Okay.
I don't think that was a penalty. No.
That the helmet to helmet's not a penalty in your book?
I did not think that was a penalty. No. How many other times you're going to ask me?
You said it was helmet to helmet earlier. That's
no penalty. No penalty.
Are you just disagreeing to disagree with me?
I already told you. I don't think it's targeting. I don't think it's a penalty. The other guy dropped his helmet on top of him. He's just trying to make a tackle. If he doesn't make that tackle, what do you want him to do? Oh, I got to stop and let the guy run in. Stop. No, not going.
I could just tell you're the anti. There's no. I mean, that's helmet to helmet right there in the end zone, too. I'm just saying, right? Guys are running around. This knocks out Harrison for the remainder of the game, who was,
it's a tough sport. This is a tough sport.
I know it's a tough sport.
And that looked like shoulder to head, to be honest with you.
Helmet to helmet, if you watch it.
That looks like shoulder. It looks like shoulder. That's a no. That's no targeting either. Zero. No targeting.
Targeting does not exist in the grumpy old man's.
He's already turned his head sideways. All right. If any, I mean, it's
contact was made
with the helmet. He didn't launch his head at him. He didn't do it. No, okay. Good call. No call. Good call.
It was called targeting on the field, and they overturned it.
Thank goodness. They looked at it again, said, nope, it's not targeting. It was not targeting. Absolutely.
Helmet contacts ruled as unnecessary roughness, Grump.
He hit the side of the helmet. He hit him on the side. The side of his helmet hit the side of his helmet. No.
When you make helmet to helmet contact,
no crown. No crown.
It doesn't have to be crown. There's three different ways it could be targeting.
Good.
I swear to God. It's like I'm talking to a guy who doesn't know the rules over here. God almighty.
Good reversal. I like that reversal. Good job. And it was even better for Georgia because it knocked Harrison out for the rest of the game.
I thought Ohio State
worked out better.
Ohio State was the better team that game. I
disagree.
Okay. I thought they were the better team that game. I thought that they played a complete game, and I thought that it was right down to the end. They started getting way too conservative. I mean, hell, look at how quick Georgia was able to drive that ball down the field the last bit. I thought Georgia's play calling offensively was scary conservative when they were down at first. They were like afraid to let Stetson Bennett throw the ball. The only thing that could stop Georgia from winning this from winning this college football final is poor decision-making by coaching. That is the only thing that could stop that team. We saw what it did, how anemic they looked offensively when they were getting ultra conservative against Ohio State.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the Bennett kid, and here's the thing, he's not a pro prospect.
No.
I don't even know where he could play next. Maybe Arena League or
find another year of eligibility in college.
Yeah, maybe. But you know what? At the end of the day, he leads them down the field for the winning touchdown, down 11 points in the fourth quarter. He drives them back to win the game. He does that a lot. Georgia tends to wear the other teams out. They're good.
They're the
Georgia's
best team in the league. Best team. I thought that if there was one team that could beat Georgia, that was the team. And Ohio State, I said, don't be shocked if they put up a fight. And hey, they did. Now, this is Ryan Day's comments about it. He doesn't come out and say, this is what I wish coaches.
He dyes his beard. It looks like he dyes his beard.
For certain, he dyes his beard. Are you kidding me? Look at that. It's so black like that. Oh, yeah, he definitely dyes his beard. When the
Why
guy
the hell would you dye your beard?
He's in a spot where optics are important there. So he wants to look like, yeah, I'm young.
But here's the thing. If some clown like me says, "Is he dye his beard?" That's not a good optic.
All he cares about is what the optics look like for those young men who are committing to his school. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about the optics that we have. What TJ and the grumpy old man say.
Well, you know what? What if they go and says, "Why the hell is this guy dyeing his beard? I don't want to play for him."
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure that's what stopped recruits before. I don't know. He maybe wants to dye. Maybe he wants to look young. He wants to feel young, Grumpy, because he's young and energetic. Maybe that has to do with it.
He did look energetic on the sidelines. He absolutely did. When Ohio State was winning, oh, man, he was Gary Gung-Ho over there.
But I'll let you listen to it here.
I was told that it was not targeting, that he didn't take a shot to the head.
True.
Which is hard for I didn't see it, so I don't know. But
then what are you talking about?
Okay. Shut up, Grump, and listen to the 20 seconds, and I'll let you respond. It's 20 seconds. I just want you, because you got to hear the hems and haws. Because what I think he's doing here is he was told not to say anything against the cuff, so he has an opinion, but he's not actually sharing his opinion when being asked about it. And that's what I wanted you to get from it. But it's 20 seconds, please.
I was told that it was not targeting, that he didn't take a shot to the head, which is hard for. I didn't see it, so I don't know. But to get a concussion and not get hit in the head, I have to see the replay. And they said that it happened after he got hit, but I have to take a look at the video. I wasn't able to see the replay.
Why do coaches, because he obviously doesn't believe what he's saying, why does he not just say what he believes?
I'm going to say, so he's got no balls and a dye job beard.
I will say he's got no ball. When I listen to that right there, I've never understood. It's like when Sean Payton was the coach of the Saints and there was that blatant pass interference that cost him the chance there at the Super Bowl. I think to myself, I'm like, dude, just say what you freaking are thinking. Who gives a shit about the fine? Say what the hell you're thinking.
At the end of the day, Ohio State didn't execute the last play of the game, which would have got them to the national championship. And that's at the end of the day, Georgia executed, Ohio State didn't in the biggest moments, period. That's a difference in the game.
Yeah.
And I thought Ohio State was a valiant effort against Georgia.
Yeah.
Do you remember week 1? You told me Ohio State sucks.
No,
after they played Notre Dame and they
wrong.
only beat Notre Dame by double digits. I said, watch
You're
out, Notre Dame's. I said, Ohio State's a good team.
You're wrong. You're misremembering. I said I was expecting Ohio State to come out there and really beat the brakes off them. I said I still thought that was a top-tier team. They're making the college football. If you tick the clock back, Grumpy, I still thought they were making the college football playoffs. And I still said before this game that I really think Ohio State has a chance to beat Georgia. You're wrong. You're wrong, Grumpy. Wrong.
Thanks for showing up on time today, too.
Hey, I do it. Is that your response when you're wrong? You try to deflect
First of
over
all, I
there?
was wrong. I'm not going to argue with it. I can go back and pull that tape earlier in the year and take a look at it and just say, yeah, TJ. But everyone knows that you're wrong and you just lie.
You've got all this free time on your hands. Go ahead and do that.
Try to cover your tracks when you're wrong.
I'm going to delete the video. Is that what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on there and delete the video or selectively edit.
That's what I think. Ohio State does. Oh, we got a garbled transmission. Must have been Grumpy's remote. It must have been his microphone. He rubbed it on his shirt, so he didn't say what he said. That's the type of thing I get from you.
When I heard that comment, though, I was like, my God, ballless. I'm like, come out and say what you're actually
doing. They're not going to say that. They never do.
Sometimes they do. But that's the one thing that I hate about American sports. They will not say what they're thinking. In European sports, European football, they'll just tell you exactly what they're thinking.
Yep.
Fines be damned. They don't give a shit. They're going to tell you exactly. The questions that the reporters ask are legitimate hard questions, and the responses they get are legitimate answers. Sure. So it's not like we're masquerading around where it's like, oh, man, Ryan Day, I don't know if you happen to see what happened on the field there with Mara. It's just like, ugh, just Get out with it. Say what you think across the board. Let's get to some comments here before we kind of jump into Damar Hamlin situation. James F. Grumpy's got a comment there for you.
Canada, another gold medal in the World Junior Championships. Czech Republic has to wait 18 years for their first gold medal.
And Goon says, Grumpy, between the color of your new chair and the color of the wall behind you, plus the plugs and wires next to you, it looks like you're in a hospital room. Are you feeling okay?
Still surviving, still kicking.
You look like you're in a chair, Grumpy, getting some sort of treatment or something like that. You are in a ward. Now, you just have to replace that picture behind you to be like some sort of contemporary modern art.
Okay. I'll consider it.
Oh, my goodness. Drew L. says, I love the college football playoffs. That Gator Bowl game was super cool to go to. It made me a Notre Dame football fan. Good to hear.
Notre Dame played who?
They played University of South Carolina.
South Carolina, and they won right at the end, right?
That was a game. You talk about another game. Every single one of those bowl games are so close, and most of the bowl games are. But think about that. Notre Dame was marching down the field to score a touchdown, and they threw like 100+ yard pick six. Tyler Buchner does, and USC comes back to tie the game up, and it's coming down to the last drive. I mean, like USC's defense was just out of gas.
Yeah,
but that was a really entertaining game to watch the whole way around.
Yeah. I mean, Notre Dame's a better team than South Carolina, but South Carolina get a very good accounting of themselves, to be honest with you.
Andrew said, New Year's resolution down the drain. Nice on TJ. No, the New Year's resolution was for the Islanders podcast. I'm starting with just the Islanders podcast. Yes. Yeah. I told you yesterday, I said, for the Islanders podcast. I made that very clear.
Okay.
Andrew L. said, Brock effing Nelson. Oh, God. It's comical that he was selected as the representative for the All-Star game. That Sorokin was not the man selected is astonishing.
Well, hey,
absolutely astonishing.
Josh Bailey made the All-Star game 1 year, too. Yeah, Brock Nelson, 31 years old, makes the All-Star game. Good for him. Is he the best player on the Islanders? No. But you know what they figure? Well, we got Shesterkin here. We got a whole bunch of high-powered forwards. Let's have somebody who's going to go out there and just, be a grinder. Throw him out there.
You know what? It's like that was the year he was still riding on the coattails of John Tavares. That was that 2018 season. And maybe because Brock Nelson's made the All-Star game, we can offer him a 5-year contract after his deal's up. That would be nice. Offer him a 5-year contract now.
We'll see.
Yikes.
Hey, but congratulations, right? Congratulations.
Congrats. I didn't think he's the most deserving player on the team.
No.
I think Sorokin, Barzal, then maybe Brock Nelson.
I think the All-Star game really doesn't mean what it used to, particularly with the way they pick it now. They have these silly little, it's not even a regular game anymore, is it? I stopped watching a long time ago. When you just kind of...
It's like 3-on-3 pond hockey style.
Yeah, it's like, does anyone want to watch Brock Nelson or Matt Barzal in a 3-on-3 competition? I'm just going to ask you. It's entertainment value only. That's what it's there for. Why would you not have the best skater on your team, the most creative player on your team be part of that? Whatever. I don't care. I will not be watching that weekend anyway. Doesn't matter.
Now that Brock Nelson has been elected to the All-Star game, Grumpy Old Man is boycotting the NHL All-Star.
I haven't watched the NHL All-Star game in years. Matter of fact, I've even stopped watching the skills competition after they had the girl racing the guys. I'm like, click means nothing. Click. Click. Click.
Oh my God. Well, here's the one thing I will say. How the hell was that All-Star team chosen? I've wondered that. Right? That was not the fan vote, correct?
I have no idea.
If it's not, I assume that is the cartel media at its fine. That's the only way I can explain it. The fact that Sorokin was not the selection there and Brock Nelson was, that is the quintessential Islanders cartel. That is exactly what that is.
One guy has to make it from every team, right? So they make sure, okay, well, let's see. We got to make sure this guy's here. We got this. We have enough goalies, so we can't take Sorokin. So let's pick somebody else. That's the way they look at it.
I'm telling you. Okay, so it says the NHL director or the NHL operations department has selected the first 32 All-Stars. One representative from each team. So the NHL hockey operations department selects the first All-Star. Okay, so if that's not telling you this is the freaking cartel, the Islanders cartel, I won't say media, but this is the Islanders cartel at its finest, I don't know what does. Holy shit. The NHL hockey operations department said Brock Nelson better candidate than Ilya Sorokin. Are you? I can't articulate this. What the hell?
So
Sorokin,
I told you what they do. They put a bare bones team and they say, okay, let's get this. If you have 10 goalies, you can't pick 10 goalies, regardless of who's the best player. So
I know Shesterkin was selected from that Rangers squad.
And that was from last year. They probably look at last year's stats and say, okay, let's put him on this year.
Yikes.
Is what it is.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Sorokin may not even get the All-Star game. Who knows? Who the heck knows?
Who cares? It means nothing.
Whatever. It means something for us little fans. Joseph C says Georgia should beat the shit out of TCU. Absolutely, Joseph C says. In theory, but they barely beat Ohio State. They were outplayed a good portion of that game, and an upset wouldn't surprise me.
I think the difference between Ohio State, between Georgia and Michigan, is that Michigan doesn't have a whole lot of team speed on the back end. Georgia does. You're not going to see Georgia get exposed on 75-yard touchdown runs right up the middle. You're not going to see that.
Let me ask you a question here. Did you hear anything I said, or did that dumb Siri thing go ahead and
I don't know what you said. You said, okay. I don't know.
I was speaking. Okay. What I was trying to say is I was reading the comment. Yeah, they were outplayed a good portion of that game, and upset wouldn't surprise me. And I think you were mentioning it. I didn't hear anything either because that dumb Siri bastard was speaking over me in my headphones. But yeah, you're right. I don't foresee 2 pick sixes, Georgia throwing 2 pick sixes and, fumbling on the 1 yard line and giving up those huge broken plays. No way. Absolutely no way.
Yeah. And that's going to be the difference, right? You're not going to see Stetson Bennett. I think he's thrown 4 interceptions the whole year. You're not going to see him throw 2 pick sixes. Georgia's good. Georgia's real good. I just don't give TCU much of a chance. I don't think TCU is that good. I think Michigan came in a little bit
sloppy,
overconfident maybe, and they were a little bit surprised by TCU. And here's the thing, all those Big 12 schools, they have offensive guys. They spread it out, and the guys from the Big 10 really struggle with that. It's the type of recruit you get.
Okay. They didn't. Okay. No, they didn't struggle because of that. They struggled because they threw 2 pick sixes and fumbled on the 1 yard line.
How many 70-yard
points? How
many 70-yard touchdown runs or bombs down the field where a guy just run past the defensive back?
No, not run past. It was a missed tackle and a blown coverage. Okay, it's not. You can't say, "Oh, that's right." Like Ohio State, the guy slipped and fell. It has nothing to do with athleticism. When you slip and fall,
it absolutely has something to do with athleticism.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. Why do you think all those Big 10 schools? You don't see people going from Florida and Texas to go play in Michigan and Ohio. You don't see that. You have to sell them to get them to go up north.
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
They can't recruit from Florida.
Name one guy with any speed from Michigan.
Let me go ahead and pull up their recruiting class, and I'll go ahead.
I don't care about their recruiting class. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I'm just flat out telling you, better athletes play in the SEC, even the ACC to some extent, the Pac-12 and the Big 12, because they're all in those southern schools. The northern schools don't get the athletes. They just don't. If you're a big-time athlete, you want to go play for Alabama or Clemson, where it's warm. You don't want to play when it's 15 degrees out in the middle of November. You don't want to do that. Ohio State gets good recruits. Other than that, no. So,
yeah, I'm just pulling up. I'm just proving you wrong because
I don't care. I'm talking about team speed.
Bullshit.
I'm talking about athleticism and team speed. I don't care where they're ranked. I'm talking about athleticism and team speed. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll get it pulled up for you. Don't you worry, you pretty little.
Oh my God. Okay, so what's the next thing we're going to talk about?
Okay. So you ready to move on for that? Just spewing bullshit.
Because I don't need you pulling some random bullshit where you can just say, well, look at this guy was ranked number. I don't care where they're ranked.
I'm going to go down. I'm going to pull up their freaking list, and I'll go ahead and go down the players at team speed. All right.
That's what I care about.
Yeah.
Michigan did not have the team speed to catch up with TCU. Period. End of sentence, end of story. They're a better team than
Stop.
TCU, but they got out athletic in that.
Okay, yeah. So the 2 pick sixes, well, it wasn't misexecution by the quarterback. That was because they ran so quick, they ran past the entire freaking field. And the fumble on the 1 yard line, that wasn't a misexecution by Michigan. That was just them saying, TCU saying, I'm super fast. I'm going to make it because I'm so fast. Touchdown! That's how it worked. It's just such a dumb argument.
Out athletic. You see that often.
Out athletic.
You used to see it all the time back in the Rose Bowl, where the Big Ten would have the best team, but they'd lose to the
It's not 20 years ago.
Okay, it's the same thing.
JJ McCarthy, would you say he's athletic?
Name a bunch of speed guys at Michigan. Name one.
Is JJ McCarthy athletic? I consider him athletic. Yeah.
The quarterback? No.
Yeah. Oh, he's not athletic?
No.
Okay.
And he can't throw the ball either. I'm talking about speed guys, the guys outside, defensive backs. Who's got the speed? Who's got the pace? If you can't keep up with the wide receiver, they're going to burn you.
Darian Green Warren. He's a starter. Cali boy. Grumpy? Whoa! Cali boys don't go to Michigan.
What's his speed? You have his speed?
Starting quarterback.
What's his speed?
They don't time 40s in college.
See, what do you mean? I don't care where they're ranked. I don't care where they're ranked.
You're talking about right now. Who the hell knows?
I've already told you I don't care about where they're ranked. I'm talking about the athleticism of the players. That's what I'm talking about.
You
can't comprehend it because you only wear a cutoff T-shirt.
He's athletic, Grumpy. You Grumpy?
Not athletic enough to keep up with TCU.
Wrong, Grumpy.
See you later.
Wrong, Grumpy.
Hey, see you later.
Wrong.
Where's Michigan? Oh my gosh, what are they running? Suspended animation? What's going on?
They're running out there. They're running
touchdown.
Oh, that's what it is, Grumpy. Oh, Grumples. You're wrong, but that's okay. We'll agree to disagree. Moving right along, though, Grumpy. Getting through more comments. Goon, Grumpy.
Sorry, Salah must go. He committed too many blunders, was outcoached too many times, and is a pal of his players, etc. Offer his job to either Sean Payton or the grumpy old man. I'd take that job. Sean Payton will not go there because you're going to have to give up talent. They're going to need a quarterback too. This week, Robert Saleh came out and he said that he needs to work with Zach Wilson. They believe in him. He needs to grow up, in essence, is what he said. He needs to be committed. But if you're going in with him as your starter next year, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of improvement. What veteran quarterback do you think would help the Jets next year? Who's going to be available?
Are you going to say Derek Carr? Is that what you're looking to say?
I'm going to say Derek Carr. He's gone. He'll be gone from the Raiders. Some Las Vegas paper said that the Raiders want to go after Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, remember that's what you remember Dana White said that he originally had the deal lined up for the Raiders and Tom Brady. Oh, and you called him crazy. Bullshit. No, that didn't happen.
All I said was he's not an NFL power broker. All I said was that Dana White is not an NFL power broker. That's what I said. I didn't say he was right or wrong. I said he's not. Since when is Dana White an NFL power broker? Who has gone to Las Vegas or anywhere based on the word of Dana White? No one. No one. Zero. Nada. Nothing. Nobody.
You were like Stalin during the USSR days. Here's the thing, Grumpy. It's not all or nothing. Imagine, right, when you're filling up your gas tank, Grumpy, does it go from empty to completely full in a nanosecond? No, it slowly fills up. So one of those items, right, as you're slowly going ahead and convincing a player to come there, it's not all one thing. He was a help. He was a help in trying to go ahead and get that deal filled. It wasn't just being white. It's not just the area. It's not just the team. There's a whole bunch of different items.
That was Dana White. I had a deal lined up. Dude, you didn't have anything lined up. Okay, you full of shit. Maybe you put somebody in contact with representatives. Maybe. Because he is from the Boston area. Maybe.
He's not an NFL
power broker. Nobody ever did anything in the NFL based on the word of freaking Dana White. I stand
Dana White. Dana White.
What does your shirt say? The worst thing about prison was the Dementors.
Yeah, do you not remember Prison Mike? He goes on, he said, the worst thing about prison was the Dementors.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's a quote from The Office. Maybe you're not familiar, but that's fine. You know what? I heard Dana White actually convinced Bill Belichick to draft Tom Brady. So, you know what? Sit down, Grumpy. Dana White helped Tom Brady get found by the Patriots. Okay? So you just say he helped the people's champion. All right. So you can go ahead and take all your bad words about Dana White back right now.
I'm hearing that the people's champion is #1 on the hit parade for the Las Vegas Raiders for next year.
Speaking about Dana White, I don't know if he popped up in the news, not in a good way. I think domestic violence or something like that. He hit his wife or was, I don't know. I didn't see the video. So it was reported.
You want to know why he hit her? Because she doubted that he was trying to get Tom Brady and Gronk to the Las Vegas Raiders. And she went, and she went, whoa.
No, I don't
he
think
deserves to get whatever he gets.
I don't remember. I didn't see the video, but I know that he had popped up and it was not a good look, is all I remember reading about it.
I don't understand the hitting of your wives. I don't
think he hit her. Maybe he didn't hit her, but he was drinking or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to let me pull it up real quick and see if
Is she pretty? Let's see what she looks like. Because if she's really ugly, that'd probably make me drink too.
Oh, stop.
I'm going to bet she's pretty though, because he's got money.
Let's see. Okay, this is, oh my God. It's like, God, when you try to pull up a video, it's like they always give you like a 6-minute long. He said there's no excuse there for, TMZ. That's how you know it's going to be legit. Okay. It's TMZ. That's the raw footage. You don't have to worry about anything on that. So, come on. Let me get this full screen.
There we go. Whoa, look at this. Was there an ambulance involved?
No, it does this when I pull it up on freaking YouTube.
Oh, this is the Cincinnati game. That's not Dana White.
Oh.
Why don't you just tell us what happened that night? What happened?
You can barely see a damn thing.
She's unhappy. He's grabbing her hand.
He slapped him and he slapped.
Oh, what the hell, dude? Is that how you respond? Really? She barely touched him. And
yeah, I don't know. Not a good look from Dana White. I've seen all I need to see.
I want to know what he did to make her cry, because she was crying before she slapped him.
Not a good look for Dana White is right. I like Dana White. I like his personality.
She hit him like this. She hit him like this.
Like a love tap. That was like a love tap, and he tapped her once, and then he hit her again, and then going at her.
He picked up a chair and he smacked her with it 15 times and flipped her over the barricade. You never touched me.
He picked up.
Nobody put Dana White in the corner.
It's like the airline. It's like, or Airplane, the movie Airplane, where it's like, calm down, and like they start lining up. They started having everybody just getting ready to attack him. Yeah. I don't know how that. I've never understood that. I don't understand why people ever hit your loved one. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I've never hit the warden. She's never hit me.
I don't. Yeah, I was about to say I don't understand that.
I remember I got my mom so mad at me once. She had a cup of water. She splashed me in the face. She was so pissed off. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Look at that. You must have been an awful, awful child to have grandma do something like that to you, Grumples.
No, not true.
It's probably because you didn't want to eat your mayonnaise sandwich.
No comment on that mayonnaise sandwich, but I will not eat mayonnaise. No.
Drew L said this game proves the Islanders ain't ready for prime time. Yeah, they're
not. The Islanders getting throttled. I mean, the score is only 3-1, but they're getting absolutely throttled. In the first period, the shots were 18-2, and it wasn't even that close.
Yeah, we were dominating the first period.
Sorokin was sensational in net. The Islanders came out and played extremely well so far in the second period. Matt Barzal scores another goal. Where's our all-star? He didn't do shit. But then Edmonton comes back down, make it 3-1. So is what it is.
I love that one, Grumpy. Got a comment here from Joseph C.
Where does Jim Harbaugh coach next year, by the way, Michigan or the NFL? Supposedly, if he gets an offer from the NFL, he will go to the NFL. And that David Tepper of the Carolina Panthers has already been in contact with his representatives. So whatever happens with that happens. That's not something that I have. This is secondhand, of course, because I'm not in, I'm not a janitor.
Get Dana White on the phone, damn it.
Dana White.
Get Dana White on the phone. He'll give you the information. Dana, I know you're trying to recover your image after you just beat your wife. So we're going to offer you a one-time little spot here on the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show. You could be so fortunate that you can make a little appearance here, Dana.
Now, I know in the past you've been very critical of Jim Harbaugh as a coach, but you think he's pretty good now, right? You think he's pretty? I mean, he's trying to make it get around.
When you say critical, I said last year, I was on the record saying, if they don't beat Ohio State, I said his job might be in jeopardy. They beat Ohio State, made it to the college football playoff, so it's completely different. But how many years in a row did he not beat Ohio State? He's been at Michigan for a long time, and as a Michigan head coach and as an Ohio State head coach, you can't lose to that rival 5 or 6 years in a row and still expect to keep your job.
They haven't won a bowl game in 6 years.
Ohio,
and I think Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. I think he really is. I think he'd be it reminds me of Marty Schottenheimer a lot. Marty Schottenheimer was a really great NFL coach. Couldn't win the big game, though. Just couldn't. Would get you real close, but couldn't put you over the top. Something would always happen. This reminds me of Jim Harbaugh. Same thing. He can get you this far and then just can't get you over the top. And I just wonder if that would be the case, if he goes back to the pros. But if the Carolina Panthers were to sign him as a head coach, I think that's a positive move for them.
I'd agree with you on that one, Grumpy.
I can't wait for the it's funny. I can't wait for the NFL offseason. It's so exciting. It's what Major League Baseball, what the hot stove league used to be, with all the moving and shaking. Now you're just seeing quarterbacks change in place every year. It's not a great quarterback free agent crop this year, but I still think you're going to see a lot of movement. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, the hero of the people, Lamar Jackson. What happens with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, a lot of stuff, a lot of moving and shaking.
A lot of work.
Jimmy Crappolo.
Yeah, but man, I tell you, this camera's giving me a damn pain in the ass. But yeah, Jim Harbaugh, I could see maybe. Yeah, you're right. They've not won a bowl game for the last 7 years and last 6 attempts. The last 6 times they appeared in the bowl game, lost their last 6. But Jim Harbaugh has had, his most successful seasons at Michigan, right, was that 2010 year where they finished 4th. They beat Stanford in the bowl game. They won the Orange Bowl. That was probably his most.
Was he there in 2010?
Yeah, he was at Stanford, I'm sorry, 2010 when they beat, it's Stanford. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up here. He was at Stanford. That was 2010. His best year at Michigan was probably these last 2 years.
Yep. He had to totally, that team, they were in a state of a shambolic state.
2015 is when he took over.
Yeah, I mean, they were really bad. They were really bad for a long time. And it took him a while, but he's turned it around. But from what people are saying, that if he gets a legitimate offer, I don't know what that is, if that's, being in control over, player personnel or having a lot of say in it or whatever, free agency, that he'll be gone back to the NFL.
John M. Grumpy said, "Good evening, gentlemen. Why is Clutterbuck back against a great skating team?"
Well, because we're out of good skating players. I mean, why is Anders Lee on the ice in a situation like this? Josh Bailey, Croc Nelson, name anyone.
James F. says here, they look like crap. The Islanders never win. And against Edmonton, the Islanders 4 shots to 17 or 18, whatever it was. Nuts. Gungun says, what are the chances the Mets and the Jets both choking and fading this past seasons? Hopefully the Islanders don't also poop their pants down the stretch and cause a stench.
What were the chances? I mean, here's the thing. I think if you're a Mets fan, you had to be pleased with where they came from the year before.
Okay, I give
that. Right? That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I mean, you have to look at where you were the year before, where you got to this year, right? So I don't think they pooped their pants. Okay, they lost to San Diego in the playoffs. It happens, right? Scherzer had a bad game. They lost. Still need a big bat. I think they still need a big bat. The Jets, if you told anyone that the Jets were going to be 7-8 or whatever, 7-9, 7-8, 7-9 or 8-8. Are they 8-8?
I'll pull it up here.
I mean, I'm not sure what their record is, but if someone was going to tell you that the Jets had a chance to be an over 500 team at the end of the year, considering where they came from, you would have said, you know what? Hey, we'll take that.
7-9 on a 5-game losing streak.
Okay. Well,
I think the losing streak is kind of what gives the bother. It's just like we're 7-9 on a 5-game losing streak.
Well, the coaching, the quarterback issue has been tough for them. They lost 2 games in New England they never should have lost. New England is winning games just on muscle memory at this point. They're terrible.
It's like when you go ahead and It's like when like you cut the legs or like you cut a head off of like any sort of animal or like a fish is dead. They're still kind of wiggling around just based off of that muscle memory. That's exactly right, Grumpy. Yeah. Drew said, do you think that CJ Stroud put himself back into a top 5 pick conversation after that Georgia game? I think he did.
Can you tell me what CJ Stroud's physical measurements are?
Yeah, I'll pull them up here.
Because
and here's the thing. They are the college measurements. So go ahead and subtract about an inch and make them a little lighter.
They're close, though. They're close. I mean, you got Bryce Young is like 6 foot tall. Okay. I'm just not a Bryce Young fan. I'm not saying he can't be productive in the pros, but shorter quarterbacks tend to struggle a little bit.
I'm showing 6'3".
6'3". Okay. Yeah. I mean,
6'2.5", 6'3" is what we're showing here.
And you had,
I'm expecting him 6'2" flat, probably 6'2".
Well, we're gonna find out when he gets measured. Shorter guys like Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, they tend to struggle because the players are just bigger. The linemen are just bigger. They're showing 6'2.5", 6'3". Okay, whatever. Yeah. We're gonna find out what he is. He's big enough, but he does not have prototypical size. Just does not.
He, I think, put himself absolutely back in top 5 conversation. I think he's a better quarterback than Bryce Young. You're really going to have to do a lot to convince me that any of those Alabama quarterbacks are the real deal.
The Levis kid is another guy, even though he did not have a great year for Kentucky, but the NFL scouts love him. They love his makeup. They love his size and his arm strength.
That's going to be one of those kids who's selected like a top 5, top 10 pick. And in reality, you're going to look back on it if he doesn't pan out and said, what the hell were these guys thinking? Because his numbers in college were never great.
But last year they were good. Last year they were pretty good. This year, not so much. Last year they were pretty good, though.
I don't know. I got to look that up, Grumpy. I'm not sure about that.
Fine. Like I said, he's supposed to be rated very highly.
2,800 passing yards in 13 games. That's not great.
For Kentucky. For freaking Kentucky. It's freaking Kentucky.
Kentucky was a good team last year. Kentucky was a damn good team.
They're freaking Kentucky.
Okay.
They're basically a running. They were
10-3 last year. 10-3.
But they were basically a running team. They're not a passing. They're not a spread offense team.
He had 376 passing attempts. He had 357 or 53 passing attempts last year. Only 283 passing attempts this year.
What's his completion percentage?
Last year, 66%. That's
pretty good. How many
14 touchdowns to 13 interceptions last year. This year, 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a guy who here's the thing. I won't say all. Most quarterbacks get overdrafted because guys like Kenny Pickett, guys like Aaron Rodgers, some guys slip. Most quarterbacks get overdrafted.
You can't say Kenny Pickett slipped. You can't say he was picked where he should have been picked.
Shit. What you see on the field indicates that's a guy who should have been one of those guys that teams reached for. He slipped all the way to 19, wherever the hell it was, where the Steelers drafted.
Okay, that's where he should have been. He wasn't a top 10 talent, even though you kept on saying he was top 10. He was not.
He's going to show every single game that he's a top 10 talent, Grumpy. Kenny Pickett is the best quarterback that's ever played the game of football. He's going to dethrone the GOAT, Grump.
Okay, I like Kenny Pickett, and it's not the things I don't think he's great at are the physical things. But I think that he has a winning mentality to him, and that can make up for some of that. Drew Brees was drafted in the second round. You could say that, but now was Drew Brees, did he have tremendous athletic ability? No. The fact that he played in the Dome is why he was so good. I mean, he would have put up the numbers he did if he played, up in New York or New England or Green Bay. It just wouldn't have happened.
Okay. Kenny Pickett is athletic, much more athletic than Drew Brees was. But anyway,
I'm just drawing a comparison between. I don't think Kenny Pickett has the arm strength of the best quarterbacks in the league. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Time will tell.
He's
John McManaman.
Really tiny hands too. Really tiny hands.
John McManaman says here, if let me put it like this, if he could have Giselle Munchin's hands on his body, Grumpy, he'd be the first ballot Hall of Famer.
He would be first ballot Hall of Famer. She's got
John McManaman says at least Canada went back to back. And Goon says here, who was the best Baldy? Kojak, Isaac Hayes or Yul Brenner?
Yul Brenner. Okay. Who loves you, baby? That's the answer right there.
What the hell that means?
Telly Savalas played Kojak. Kojak was a TV series. He always used to have a lollipop. His brother was on the show too. And if you pull up Kojak, he always had a little lollipop and he has a little hat on. It's like, who loves you, baby? He was a detective.
Okay, hold on.
Kojak.
Here we go, Grumpy.
Isaac Hayes was he was a musician, also bald, and Yul Brenner wasn't initially bald, but then he was after The King and I. He shaved his head for that role, and then he saw him in the Ten Commandments. There you go. There's the man, Telly Savalas, a.k.a. Kojak.
Can I go ahead and put my own submission in this one, Grumpy?
You can put your picture up there?
No.
Then it kind of, what do you think? I'm stupid?
Grumpy. John McMahon says, ooh, hoo, hum, another shorty against. Oh, gosh. Gotta love it. Andrew L. says, Harbaugh is such an overrated coach. He always makes key mistakes in big games.
I don't think he's overrated. I just don't think he's overrated. I just don't know if he's a guy that in the big game, he's not a Belichick. Let me just put it.
He's not as good as his brother. Oh, shit. Both the Harbaughs make a lot of dumb mistakes.
But
you know what? I'm actually on with Andrew. They both make really dumb mistakes in important moments.
But they're both really good head coaches.
I think
not everybody is freaking Vince Lombardi or Bill Belichick or Bill Parcells. Not everyone is like that.
They would be even better if you could just say, we're going to wash away the ability for you to make miserable in-game decisions. They would both be fantastic Hall of Fame caliber coaches because there's so much they do right, but that they do so freaking poorly. In-game decisions that I won't say he's an overrated coach, but I think that's the worst part of his game is in-game decision-making, game preparation, things of that nature. Just oof. He's a really good coach, but he makes some of those really dumb in-game decisions. Yul Brenner or David Brenner?
David Brenner was funnier, but Yul Brenner was a better actor.
Because says fire lame. Andrew L. Grumpy.
Should have taken the points on that first drive instead of going for it. Always take the points, especially in an elimination game. I don't know which game he's talking about. I forgot who did that. Somebody did it. But I'm a big believer in that too. Put points on the board.
John McMahon says Harbaugh is overrated. Loses more big games than wins.
He's never won a big game. Never. The only reason his brother John won a Super Bowl is because he played Jim and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. The only reason. Harbaugh brothers somebody had to win.
The only way a Harbaugh brother could win a big game is if they play each other.
They even turned the lights out in the building to make sure that they came back and won.
If they could have found a way to have a draw or a tie, they damn well would have done it.
Yeah.
Grumpy, here's another comment there for you from Goon Goon.
Is James Osterberg truly the godfather of punk? I don't know, Goon Goon. I don't know.
4 big shots on goal in the first. Islanders, by the way, update down 4-2. They just scored. Parise puts one into the net.
Clutterbuck.
Oh, it's Clutterbuck. I'm sorry. That being said, Grumpy, do you know what's crazy? Let's talk a little bit about the Brock. We said Brock Nelson.
Can I just say one thing? The last 3 home games, Edmonton has given up 2-goal leads in the third period.
Dun, 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 dun. The Islanders are their third period team.
Sorokin made a spectacular save on a breakaway, comes right down the other end, and Clutterbuck, that puck was going about 15 foot wide of the net. He just throws a stick down. Jack Campbell's asleep, goes right by him.
Hold on. He literally threw his stick on the ice?
He just he just kind of threw his stick down. And I'm like I said, that goal would have missed the net by 15 feet.
It was a redirection in the net.
Yeah, redirection. I don't even know how he got to it, honestly. They're showing the replay, and it was so wide. It was so wide.
Grumpy, TV off, dude. Yeah, Grumpy. Anyway, John McMahon says here, Harbaugh blamed last year's playoff loss on team enjoying the festivities. Always somebody else's fault and not him. Team should have been better prepared for this week's game. And here's the thing. Absolutely. You're the head coach. You determined the fucking preparation of the players, buddy. You're the fucking head coach. The fish rots from the head, John.
True.
Ugh. And Andrew L said, sorry, TJ, not targeting on the Ohio State one and the Michigan game. In the Michigan game, that was after an illegal forward lateral pass, therefore plays that. That's not why they didn't call that. They were reviewing it to see if it was. They missed the forward lateral. I think, yeah, sure, you could argue maybe it was a forward lateral. I definitely think that was targeting that Michigan game. But moving on. Greg Bueno. Grumpy, have you done your homework assignment for Greg?
No, I have not. I'm sorry, Greg. I have not done it.
I want you to apologize, Grumpy. A written apology to Greg.
Read the comment because it's pithy.
Grumpy, what's easier to obtain? Your 2 quotes about the A+ album books for Amazon or the location of Jimmy Hoffa's whereabouts? Grumpy, what's easier to obtain? Or where defensive back Cooper left all that money?
I've absolutely dropped the ball on that. I will get to that. I've not forgotten. Actually, how many times have I said, I'm going to take care of that for Greg tonight? I can't tell you. Then I'll get distracted. Something will happen, and I'll get distracted because they're not that hard to do. And because they're easy, because the books are good. And, except for the fact that he, didn't pick the Clash or Springsteen or, any truly classic albums. But other than that, it's just so well researched, and it's all bad on me. Sorry.
Flip that microphone one more time, Grumpy. I want to show you now. I want to show you the rumors about LSU. Now, this is nuts, and I mean absolutely nuts. So the rumor is star wide receiver for the team, Grumpy, Mr. Boutte, Grumpy. He apparently. You got Kayshon Boutte. He ran train with him, the wide receiver coach, and somebody else. I can't remember who it is, with one of the recruiting coordinators. And so what happened was before the bowl game, Kayshon Boutte came out and said he was returning for another season. He wanted to come back. He loved college. He wanted to return. But then was said, gotta go. You have to leave, my friend. And when they asked Chip Kelly, when they asked Brian Kelly, God almighty, when they asked Brian Kelly about what his thoughts were, he said he cannot speak on some of the reasons that Kayshon Boutte was announced as unavailable for the team's bowl game today.
Or he chose not to speak on them.
He said he couldn't speak on him. He can't speak on him. So I'll let you watch this little item here. And I thought it was well.
Do we have video from TMZ of what he did?
No, we don't have video of him running train, but we do have a pretty good one here. I like this guy's videos. Here it is, Grumpy. Let's listen to it.
The rumors are swirling around LSU football right now. A rumor about a sex party involving a player.
Okay, Grumpy, you're going to have to get used to the echo on this one, Grump. All righty?
Here's the thing.
You're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to get used to the echo on this one, Grump.
Listen
it's not going to change it.
Listen to me. Then don't put it up because if it echoes, no one can hear what he's saying.
You're the only one maybe who can't hear it. Use your ears.
You keep on saying that. That's not true. Everyone hears the echo.
Use your ears.
The only one who doesn't hear the echo is you.
I want you to do something called use your ears this time, Grumpy. Okay? I'll lower the volume. Maybe it will reduce the echo.
It won't.
Are swirling around LSU football right now. A rumor about a sex party involving a player, coaches, and a staff member went viral on Twitter and had everybody talking on Sunday night. That player in this alleged rumor is Kayshon Boutte. You may remember about 3 weeks ago, he announced that he's coming back to LSU. But last week, he announced, I'm actually going to the NFL draft. According to the rumor, Boutte was asked to leave LSU and enter the NFL draft after his involvement in an alleged sex party in Atlanta during SEC championship weekend with him, 3 coaches, and then a female staffer. Here are the others involved. Obviously, it was a choo-choo. And on top of this, earlier today, Brian Kelly was asked why Kayshon Boutte was unavailable even before declaring for the draft. And Brian Kelly responded by saying he was listed that way because he cannot speak further on it. The rumor.
So
you realize we did not need to hear that guy. You had already said everything, and now we just listened to him in an echo. That's what we did. It was unnecessary.
That frustrates you, Grumpy.
Here's the thing. He didn't add anything to what you said.
He added the pictures of who it was.
I could care less.
You didn't care about the pictures?
No.
The fact that you had position coaches.
I don't care. I don't care. You already told us everything that happened. You already told us. We did not need to hear that goof with the half-ass beard come out and say the same exact thing in echo form. Unnecessary.
Oh, Grumpy. What's
Then you
making you
say,
sad
just
over there?
listen to this
Is
video,
Duke losing
and then what
again,
do you
Grumpy?
think?
Is
This is
Duke
what you
losing
should
again
do.
to NC State?
No, this is what you should have said. Listen to this video and tell me what you think, as opposed to you saying it, then listen to the garbled nonsense that guy said, which is the same thing. I mean, what was the point?
Oh, Grumpy, are you getting angry? Duke must be
Because-
losing. I didn't know
because
Duke
you
was
just-
playing
you
a
just-
back-to-back.
You're just delusional. All right, what's the
Oh.
next thing? Move on.
John M. saying, if Harbaugh leaves for the NFL, Indy, perhaps, Michigan will be screwed for replacing him.
Without a doubt. I 100% agree with that.
You don't think they could find a replacement for Harbaugh?
Not at his level. No,
Michigan's an appealing and attractive job.
they're not an appealing and attractive job.
They're a blue blood.
Okay, you hear they're talking about David Shaw. I mean, that's the highest level candidate that they're talking about. There's not a whole lot of guys out there. There's not a Lincoln Riley out there this year.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Moving along. Lincoln Riley he's like 1-5 in bowl games in his career. He sucks in bowl games. Found a way to lose to Tulane. Lincoln Riley, miserable. Andrew L. Grumpy's got a comment. I'm gonna let you read some comments because we're gonna go by quick.
And the Georgia one was directly shoulder to shoulder, right at the ball. It dropped. Watch it in slow mo. Exactly.
Helmet to helmet.
Exactly.
Grump.
Gungun says, seems like every other game I changed my opinion. If Lane Lambert's the right man in the job, or if Trotz could have done the same lukewarm so-so job that man with the Dracula hair has done. No, Trotz, we wouldn't be as good under Trotz this year.
I agree.
Everyone was unhappy with him. Everyone. But my little brownie says, Islanders doing Islanders things in the first. Dobson's slide on the shorty is inexplicable.
What happened? I'm obviously not watching.
I didn't see that either. But I mean, Aho made a slide stop. Sorokin kept us in the game in the first period. Period.
Yep.
End of sentence, end of story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Joseph C. Grumpy.
Harbaugh should stay in college. His job in Michigan is safe for a long time because they continue to get top 10 recruiting classes. He won't get great rosters in the NFL. Depends on who you go, who your general manager is. Do you have an owner with deep pockets? And Dave Tepper for the Carolina Panthers absolutely does.
Yeah, he's
So,
a billionaire. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You're going to get paid more in the NFL.
Well, Joseph, see, they don't have top 10 recruiting classes because they can't get any athletes, Joseph. So really, they're like top 50 recruiting classes because they don't get any athletes, as per the Grumpy. John McManaman Grump.
If Lou leaves after this year, the new GM will bring in his coach anyway. Lambert will be gone, unless it's Fredo.
Ooh. Yikes. That should be the day that Islander fans revolt. We've seen some bad times, but that's like headed right back to the dark ages again. It's like if you're watching like the meme where you're watching from the spaceship in Intergalactic, you're watching something that happened in the past, and you're watching like Milbury get signed. You're just like, oh, please God, no.
A meteor named Fredo. A meteor, Islanders planet, and a meteor getting hit by a meteor named Fredo.
Oh God.
That's something we should put on a T-shirt. Fredo. Do a picture of Fredo as a meteor and little Islander land, the little serene little Islander world, and there's Fredo coming to just destroy everything.
James F. Grumpy.
I'll be happy if the Islanders get to OT tonight. They're not getting to OT.
Goon.
Lane Lambert or Lane Staley? Who the hell's Lane Staley?
Don't know. I was hoping you would. Drew Grumpy.
I'm just glad Damar Hamlin woke up. I want to see this guy play football again next. I don't want to see him play football again.
I think he'll be able to play. I hope he's able to play again.
I don't want him coming back and playing football. The same reason I didn't want Alex Smith coming back and playing football. The same reason I want Christian Eriksen coming back and playing soccer. Guys, your health is more important than a silly freaking game.
So this is what happened. Per the physicians, and things look to be good. He's waking up. He's able to be conscious, which is good. This was released by the Bills team. They said, per the physicians caring for Damar Hamlin at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, Damar has shown remarkable improvement over the past 24 hours. While still critically ill, he has demonstrated that he appears to be neurologically intact. His lungs continue to heal and is making steady progress. We're grateful for the love and support that we have received. Let's talk a little about that. Took a fluke. I'm not going to show the hit. Everybody's seen the hit. I don't want to talk too much about I feel like it's been talked about by anybody and everybody over the last 48 hours, and it's a huge story, and I'm glad it's getting the coverage it needs. But it takes a fluky hit, gets hit in the chest, and he collapsed on the field. Heart stopped. They had to bring him back to life twice. They were CPR.
Not initially. He got up and it's like
down. Yeah,
it's almost like he got hit that blunt force trauma right to the chest just as it was beating, and it just shut his heart down, which is it was freaky.
Fluky.
Like, take the freaking helmets off. You're not going to see T. Higgins lower his head on his chest. You're just not going to see it.
Don't care.
That being said, this did not have the effect on me that it had on a lot of people. And I guess the reason is, like 2 years ago, we saw Christian Eriksen die on the field during a Euro 2020 game. And you saw the guys actually bump, doing the chest compressions on the field. Like here, everybody was kind of blocked it off. And I guess because I'd already seen it, it didn't have that much of an effect. Now, I'm not saying that no one should be affected. I was surprised that it didn't have the powerful effect on me that the Eriksen one does, because I'd never seen it before Eriksen. But I had seen it when this happened to Hamlin. But thank goodness he's okay. Well, on the road to recovery anyway. Good for him. But
I think you were.
But now we got a lot of problems with NFL scheduling.
Okay, well, I think to mention my portion on it, I think he will hopefully recover. I hope he plays football again. Hey, I'm a University of Pittsburgh fan. He was a safety from the University of Pittsburgh. So I want to see him obviously do well, survive, and thrive out there. And hopefully it's just a fluky incident to where you remember the same thing happened to Chris Pronger, or a similar thing happened to Chris Pronger playing hockey. Yes, Chris Pronger had mentioned it too, that he was able to recover from this, and hopefully it's going to be the same there from Damar Hamlin. So we forget about that many years ago, almost probably 2 decades ago. Something similar like that happened to Chris Pronger, where he had that heart issue, and he had to be shut down, and he was hoping that Damar Hamlin was going to be able to recover the same way he was.
Yeah, nothing like what happened with Hamlin, though. I mean, he wasn't.
I'm just telling you the word that came out of Chris Pronger's tweet.
Okay.
So. Yep.
Well, like
he said,
yep. Here's the thing. I could care less if he plays football.
He stepped in front of a block shot. Chris Pronger did. Now, this is what he tweeted. He said, I remember stepping out in front of a block shot, and it hit me right in the heart. And that happened. And it stung, and it happened to him similar. Not exactly the same extent, but something similar to happen to him.
Okay.
So he was able to relate with it. It stung. Hold on. He said in the tweet, it stung as only a slap shot can. And in my head, I'm going like, get to the bench. And I blacked out in the ice. And you can kind of see, I kind of got up and I kind of stumble a bit. And I take 2 stumbly strides and I collapsed on the ice. I woke up staring straight up at the banners and the retired numbers. I looked over to the right, to our bench. I see guys crying out there. So it wasn't as severe, but it's something similar happened to Chris Pronger. Is kind of what he's.
I could care less if he plays again. I just hope he's healthy. That's all.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what
I'm greedy. I want both. I want him to be healthy. I want him to play again.
You said he went to Pitt University. Is that like Brock Nelson? Because every team has to have a player. Is that why he's in the NFL? Because every college team has to have a player in the league?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Shitty, bad execution, Grumpy, on your joke. Stumbling and bumbling down the field, Grumpy is like a locomotive without brakes.
Andrew L says, helmet to helmet. WTF are you talking about, TJ? Come on.
He said, are you blind?
Are you blind? Yes.
The truth, Andrew.
Yes. When TJ
open up to the truth.
TJ will do anything to fit his narrative. I'm surprised he didn't put up some video from another game and saying that's the play. D-Cut says, fire TJ, hire D-Cut, keep Grumpy.
Look at that, Grumpy. You're so lucky this evening.
Now,
you're Grumpy.
Then Andrew says, I might have to get behind this fire TJ, hire D-Cut movement after this episode.
D-Cut says TCU keeps it close on money. Absolutely not. My score predictions, Grumpy. What are you predicting score-wise?
45-27.
I was going to say 35-17. And I think that it's going to be right. It's going to be 35. I still think that game, it's going to be like at the end, maybe TCU gets a few mercy points. Joseph C. Grump.
Ryan Day is the Big Ten version of Lincoln Riley. Can put together great offenses, but awful defenses that burn them in the playoff.
Oh, Grumpy. Looky there. There it is. I like that one.
I
Like a
never
Lincoln Riley
I
referred to.
never
in-
said
in-
Lincoln Riley was great. All I said was he's going to turn around USC in 2 years. He did it in one. He did it in one. He's a good college coach.
He
I
kept
didn't
us
say
happy.
great. I said good.
Okay,
Drew
cool.
says,
Jesus. Okay, Grumpy. My God, we're trying to get through comments, and there you are.
Drew says, you know what would be interesting? Talk about who is going to win the important week 18 games in the NFL season, determine who will make the playoffs.
I was about to say, so we had talked about this, right? And the game was canceled, or the game originally was postponed in the NFL. That I will tell you one thing, that was, you talk about the NFL scrambling. They didn't know what the hell they were going to do. I'll be honest with you. They first started by saying, hey, you're going to take a 5-minute warm up and get back out there on the field.
God.
And then they said, nope, we're going to go ahead and suspend. And then they want to postponing the game, and they're going to cancel the game. They have not told us yet how this is going to impact in effect playoff seeding, because both the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs are all fighting for first place in the AFC. If the Bengals win, right, and they go ahead and win next week's game, they're in a spot where they could go ahead and win the AFC and get the first seed, get that bye. If the Bills win out, they get the first round bye in the AFC. And if the Bills lose and the Kansas City Chiefs win, the Chiefs go ahead and get the first round bye. So there was a lot of implications on the first round bye on this particular game as well.
Here's what's going to happen. Buffalo is going to get the number 1 seed if they win. If Kansas City wins, they'll get number 2, and Cincinnati will get number 3. If Buffalo wins and Kansas City loses, Buffalo number 1, Cincinnati would be number 2, Kansas City 3, because Cincinnati has beaten Kansas City, and I feel they would have beaten Buffalo Monday night. They're a tough team right now. I think they and Buffalo are the 2 best teams in the league right now.
They have not. I will be interested to see what they're going to release regarding how this is going to work for playoff seeding.
They're hoping beyond hope that Kansas City loses Saturday. They want Kansas City to lose so bad to the Raiders that they'll do anything. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a bunch of fictitious calls.
Oh, I was about to say.
I'm just going to say it would not surprise me at all. It's not bowl season, but Buffalo did beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Cincinnati beat Kansas City in Kansas City. I think Kansas City's number 3 team, but with Mahomes at quarterback, you never know. I don't think Kansas City deserves to have the number 1 seed. Even if they win Saturday, I still think it should be Buffalo. They lost to Buffalo. They would have a better record than Cincinnati, so they deserve that. But if the records are the same, Kansas City's 3rd best team in the AFC.
Let me ask you this. What if they both give them a tie?
I don't think they're going to give them a tie.
That's conceivable. They didn't play the game. They didn't finish. No winner. They maybe just give them a tie point.
They're saying it's like the game never happened. I don't know what they're going to do. Like I said, what I think is going to happen is they're going to give both of those teams a win.
Maybe they go off a winning percentage.
Well, if it's winning percentage, you don't want to get half a win and half a loss as a tie. You don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's still Kansas City, if they win out, is going to have a higher winning percentage also. I just think that if Buffalo wins this week against New England, they should get home field. They beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Just that plain and simple.
Okay. Got another comment here. John McMahon said,
this Ohio coach is such a crybaby on every play. Yes, he is.
Goon Grump.
Grumpy, could you please fix Zach Wilson? He's obviously crying out for help. He is. They need a better quarterback coach or a quarterback coach to help him. He's not there yet. He's a little immature. He's hitting all of his mom's neighbors, pulling trains on them. So he needs to grow up a little bit. I think you got to have somebody with a strong hand on top of him. You just do. He's talented. Tell me he wouldn't benefit going to a team like I don't know, Kansas City, to sit behind Mahomes for a couple of years, then go somewhere else, or to a team that has another established veteran, maybe Green Bay, something like that, where he can get his act back together and learn from good quarterbacks.
D-Cut says, and D-Cut just sent me this, a neutral site AFC championship game? What the fuck?
They don't know what they're doing. Here's the thing. These guys are all ex-football players. They're all kind of stupid. You know that. But here's the thing. It's not even the neutral site game. Who gets the bye? Some team's going to get a bye. That's a team that benefits. It's not even where the game is, I don't think. It's getting
Well,
that
home field advantage matters in an
Oh,
AFC championship game.
okay.
Absolutely it does.
But the extra week off matters even more, I think. Heal that body up a little bit.
Yep, I'm seeing here. Yet AFC Championship game will be held on a neutral site. Participating teams played an unequal number of games. God almighty, could you imagine? Let's say you're the 7th seed in the AFC that somehow squeaks their way in, but you go ahead and make it to the AFC Championship game, and you're playing the Bills, but it has to be a neutral site game. So here are the scenarios, and thanks, D-Cup, for sending that too. So I'm going to try to zoom in maybe a little more. Scenario 1, Buffalo and Kansas City both win or both tie. A Buffalo versus Kansas City championship game would be at a neutral site.
I disagree with that flat out. I absolutely disagree with that. Buffalo beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Game should be in Buffalo. Next one.
Buffalo and Kansas City both lose, and Baltimore wins or ties. A Buffalo versus Kansas City championship game would be at a neutral site. What are you doing, Grumpy?
Everything is neutral site. I could care less.
Okay. Everything is neutral site there. Okay. Yep. Cincinnati there. All neutral site situations.
Who does that really hurt the most? Kansas City. Hurts Kansas City. I think that they have the biggest home field advantage in the playoffs.
Arrowhead Stadium. Yeah, for certain it is. I just
Buffalo second. I think Cincinnati can win anywhere. I really do.
I'm more concerned about who's going to get the bye.
That's it. The bye is more important than neutral site. It is.
I just took a quick glance. I don't think it addresses who gets the bye. So that's the big one for me. Anyway, continuing on, Grumpy.
That would have been a Jets-like situation. They make it to the AFC Championship, and it's held in Idaho. Okay. Or Toledo. Either place.
Oh, good gracious.
Or Boise State.
There you go.
Put the blue field up there. D-Cut says, congrats to Penn State on a solid Rose Bowl win. Franklin is still a bum, but I give credit where it's deserved. Yeah, right. People always say James Franklin can't win big games. They absolutely killed Utah. Of course, Utah got their quarterback knocked out. So, when you lose a quarterback like that, that's over. It's over.
Yeah, I'm glad they came out with that update during the podcast, so we had that. But James F. Grumpy,
since John Travolta was in 2 blockbuster movies and one of them is on tonight, Grease or Saturday Night Fever. Saturday Night Fever was a better overall movie, but I like Grease. I love the songs in Grease. So I watch both, but they were 2 really good movies, and he was a good actor. Really nice man too.
Now, you had mentioned earlier, Grumpy, about you wouldn't have been shocked, right, if they didn't come out with something. Maybe there was going to be some tomfoolery to force the Kansas City Chiefs to lose. Well, speaking of tomfoolery, do you remember Matthew LaHoyes, the soccer official? Maybe you remember him. He officiated that Netherlands and Argentina game that ended up with like 1 million yellows and reds.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, here it is. He recently had another situation where he was officiating Sevilla game here, Sevilla and Barcelona game, and you see there's a lot of yellows and reds. Let me put it like this: he is retiring at the end of this season, Grumpy.
I think what happened is he became the grumpy old man of of soccer officiating, and he just said, "You know what? I've been letting you bastards go for years. I'm calling it by the book. Everybody gets a yellow."
Well, no, he didn't do that because he let the intentional handball, the intentional taunting at the other manager go, which are all yellows in games, both committed by Messi. We'll let that one slide. Here's the thing: he was suspended, so the La Liga was not letting him officiate this weekend's game, and I think that's going to continue for a while. But he is retiring, so essentially he's being forced out of officiating because of just how mental these last few months, I guess the last month has been for him officiating wise.
Well,
nuts to say the least.
It's like what the NHL did with the guy who got caught on the hot mic doing the makeup call.
Tim Pool. They said, bye-bye, Tim Pool. See you later. Never going to coach again. Never going to officiate again. So I figured you just find that a little interesting there, just to wrap up that saga. D-Cut says, Brock, the ballerina will be watching. God, you want to know the crazy thing is? The ballerina only has 4 less goals than Brock Nelson, the top goal scorer. He's a fantastic goal scorer.
And
He's only got 4 less goals.
Brock has what, 3 empty netters?
3 or 4 empty netters. Isn't that look at that, 5-on-5 goals, or non-empty net goals. I think Brock Nelson and Matt Barzal are right there neck and neck. Isn't that crazy? I wonder who's got more assists. You think Brock Nelson has more assists than Matt Barzal?
He does not. He does not.
I don't know how the guy who leads the team in points and is the best player on the damn team doesn't, the best skater on the team, doesn't make it in over Brock Nelson.
Honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It bothers me, Grumpy. It bothers me, Grump. Anyway, James F. Grumpy.
Not having one of the best goalies, Sorokin, in the All-Star game, reason not to watch it. It's not even really an All-Star game anymore. It's like a, whatever, 3-on-3. It's not like it used to be. Gungun says, Grumpy, I'm shocked to hear you may have dabbled with the devil's dandruff back in the 80s. Didn't Belushi's demise teach you anything? I don't know where that information came from. I think that
your inability to give a clear and concise response when Tony Burke Curtis is asking you to tell about a Coke story in the 80s. That's where it came from.
But
your inability to answer questions has caused suspicion, which is a good segue into our Novak Djokovic. But yes, Grumpy, you said you don't know where that's coming from.
I don't know where that came from. He just kind of blurted that out. I don't know what he's even talking about. That's why he tried not to even acknowledge it. It'll go away after a while.
So this video has amassed, and this is an older video, 15 million views on it. This is Djokovic. Now, this is from November, albeit. So, this is, we're late to the party here. No doubt about that. But this is Djokovic. I believe it was during a French final.
This should be landscape, because I bet you're going to see Djokovic got like the shakes. Where's my drink? In between sets.
I'll let you watch it, Grumpy. So here's Djokovic's team.
He's cooking up some shit from underneath the seats. He's got a guy over here
underneath there. He's like, okay, but nothing too suspicious quite yet. He's reaching down. He's got his water. He's unscrewing the top there. The water. Let's see what's going to happen. He's pouring it into some special. He's pouring it in something special. You've got this guy who's keeping an eye out, watching around. He's saying, he's whispering to him. He's like, hey, stand in front of us here real quick. Oh, yeah. Hey, we're just leaning over talking to each other. Yeah, let's just go ahead. Turn sideways real quickly.
Block everything out.
Yeah, block all the view out. Here you go. I got you some special yellow water bottle. Run this to Djokovic real quick.
You know why the way they had that girl run the drugs over to him? Because that she'd be charged as a youth. So she would get a lesser prison sentence.
Hey, Novak, this is given to you from the fans right over here. This is given from the managers. Sure. I know you're drinking water right here, but this is the special water, the water with honey in it and sea salt.
Yeah.
And a fresh lime squeezed into it. Mm-hmm. How could you look more suspicious?
And look at them. They look shady too.
He's over here rubbing his freaking forehead. Look at this. They could not look more suspicious if they wanted to.
No.
Like, look at this shit. He's looking around. This guy over here with the long sleeve shirt is like looking at
everything. Guy's got, I don't know what he's got, like on some walkie-talkie headset. I don't know what the heck he's doing.
Hey, make sure nobody's looking over here. Make sure the cameras aren't drawn on us real quick. We're going to go ahead and whip up his special drink. This guy makes contact with this camera. It's just like a normal fan. But this is where he says, go forward, go forward. He's literally telling him, go forward.
Damn. Yeah, see, it looks shady.
Let me turn your shoulders really quickly here, buddy.
Do a block. Yeah, block the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, I can't get over that shit.
Looks a little
and the guy in the green from the back is like, hey, you dropped your pill bottle here, buddy. Let me go ahead and pick this up for you.
Yeah, he's dropped. Here's your needle. Here's your needle.
Here's your sea salt. Here's your vial of sea salt. You dropped it on the ground. Here you go. Take this. Yeah, let's get out of here. Here you go, Djokovic. Run it to him. Run it.
There she is. There's your drug mule. There she goes.
Unknowing, just going ahead and handing him the special drink. Let me ask you this, Grumpy. With the freshly squeezed lime and the honey and the sea salt, do you think that could maybe be prepared before they came in a stadium? Maybe like freshly squeezed could maybe be like it was squeezed 2 hours ago, or does it have to be squeezed right before consumption? Because Djokovic didn't get the message because he didn't drink it immediately.
It's all made up. It's all a lie.
Jesus Christ. I can't get over that. I cannot get over that, man. They do look as suspicious and sketchy as humanly possible.
That they do.
I would, whatever you're testing for, double and triple the testing. More consistent testing and test a wider array. It's certainly odd. Let's see here. James F. Oh, no, I'm sorry here. Oh, nope. I'm sorry. Andrew L. Grumpy.
Barzell shoots him. What do? He scores. What do you know? He scores. Yes.
I'm telling you, he's got one of the better shots on the team. Absolutely. Drew L.
Bargy
Grumpy.
with another goal. Their haters are in shambles. D-cut.
D-cut. Yeah, there you go. Andrew L. Grumpy.
You get behind the Barzy hate, though, D-cut. There you go.
Oh, gracious.
Drew says, just wanted to remind you all, Edmonton could have had Barzal if they didn't trade Griffin Reinhart. So Boston could have had him too. They had 3 straight picks right in front of his.
Right.
Think about how much better they'd be with him.
Oh, could you imagine if they had him? My God, Grumpy, it would be absolutely nuts. D-cut, Grumpy.
TJ with a millennial meltdown. Brock is better than Ballerina, TJ.
Yeah, no, he's not. No way. You can't make me buy that. Now let's talk a little about Cristiano Ronaldo. Heads the Saudi League. He heads to Al Nassr, signs the largest contract we've ever seen in professional sports on a year-by-year basis. And they do the little breakdown of how much he gets paid on, a day-by-day basis, how much he gets paid every second, right? This is his contract. It'll earn him over $500,000 a day. Holy shit. You want to talk about a crazy contract. Every second he earns $6.34 a minute, $380. Every hour he earns almost $23,000 an hour.
I mean, they're trying to legitimize their league. They bring in a player who, as of 2 years ago, was probably the greatest in the world. And you have to pay for that. And he didn't really have any other options.
You're wrong.
Well, not that fit what he wanted to do. He wanted to go back to Real Madrid, but they were having none of that. So that was his dream, was going back to Real, but they're on a whole different path now, and they're not bringing in older players. So
now this is Al Nassr. Now, apparently the rumor is there's a few things with this Ronaldo contract. Now, the contract, people are like, oh, man, why is he taking the money? Why is he doing this? The contract has a stipulation because he talks about, in this he talks about.
Maybe has
not
a stipulation.
Maybe. It does have a stipulation in it.
I have not heard that that's true. I heard there's rumors that it could be this, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw from very reliable sources that, yes, it's reported that if Newcastle makes Champions League next year, it is a possibility, right? They're sitting right now in 3rd in the Premier League. To make Champions League, the top 4 teams in the Premier League qualify automatically. The 5th team has a chance for a play-in. So, right, realistically, to have a chance, they have to finish top 5, Newcastle, or top 4 for the automatic bid. But if they do go ahead and qualify for Champions League, Cristiano Ronaldo will have the chance to go ahead and be loaned out to Newcastle. Tell me that wouldn't be crazy. Just when you think he's out, he comes back in. He finds a way back in. The guy comebacks, Grumpy. Cristiano, never doubt him out. One thing to learn.
I don't think that's guaranteed. I don't think that's guaranteed that that's the case.
I'll let you listen here. Now, you said he had no offers. I'll let you listen. This is out of Cristiano's mouth, and I wanted to ask what your
not offers that worked for him is what I said.
Okay, so Mendes and him tore off relations. So him and his agent, his super agent, immediately after this time period split. They said absolutely not. So Mendes was apparently offering Cristiano to Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. And Cristiano said, absolutely freaking not. Now, Cristiano played for Real Madrid. For those unaffiliated, Real Madrid is like an arch rival to Barcelona. It's almost like
Atletico.
And Atletico. But like to Barcelona, even more. It's almost like imagining like the Yankees to the Red Sox. Your agent's actively trying to go ahead and Johnny Damon you. Or, you're talking about Duke and UNC Chapel Hill and college basketball. It's like arch rivals, Grump. So they immediately split after that. Mendes is no longer his agent.
Do you mean like Brett Favre going to play for Minnesota?
Yeah, but even that one's not as big as Real Madrid and Barca. Okay. I'm trying to find the biggest, in sports.
Or the people's champion going to play for the Jets.
Sure, I guess it would be like back in the heyday, the Lakers and the Celtics,
Yes. Okay.
something like that. And that's what it is between Real and Barca and Atletico. So the agent wanted to get his the transfer fee. He was and the agent apparently was upset that Cristiano Ronaldo came out and had that interview with Piers Morgan because it lowered his value. It lowered his transfer value.
It absolutely
It had
did.
to be free transfer.
Absolutely did. All he cares about is what's getting money in his pocket.
Correct. The agent. That's
Yeah.
all he cares about.
Yeah.
But I'll
this
let you
worked
listen.
out honestly, that worked out better for the agent, him going to Alcazar.
Well, he's not collecting those wages because he's no longer his agent. So, the agent gets paid on the transfer fee. And also, if we steal your agent, he gets paid on the weekly wages you make. So he's not longer the agent. He's not getting paid on the weekly wages, and it was a free transfer. So the agent missed out completely. Anyway, so I'll let you watch this. I'll let you weigh in on what you think about it from Cristiano.
I can say now I had many opportunities in Europe, many clubs in Brazil, in Australia, US, even in Portugal. Many clubs tried to sign me, but I give the word to this club for the opportunity to develop not only the football but the other part of this amazing country. And for me, it's a good challenge. I know what I want, and I know, of course, what I don't want as well. So for me, it's a good chance to change, to help with my knowledge and my experience.
So
that's the benefit to having him. It's going to put them on the map. Remember, China
international cachet.
Right. China tried to do it a couple of years when they signed Iniesta from Barca, but it's just totally different there. They have money to spend here. They're not afraid to spend it. They're saying that maybe next year Ramos could go there, the year after that Modric could go there. These are all older players.
Chanty is a free agent as well, who is Muslim, and his culture, right? So culturally, he likes it there, from what I understand. These are all rumors, but you're looking here. Canty is free agent at the end of this year, hasn't signed anywhere.
If you're a player winding down your career and you can get a huge payday that you'd never get anywhere else, maybe getting paid more than you have your entire career, you really have to consider it.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you one thing. This is bad for the MLS, ladies and gentlemen. Bad for the MLS. Absolutely is. All of these guys who like to go on the MLS tour when their careers start to end, they're not going on the MLS tour anymore. They're going on the Saudi Arabia tour. They're going to the Saudi Pro League tour is what's going to happen. So what I also heard is the contract has 3 years as a player and 4 years after that as an ambassador trying to bring the World Cup to Saudi Arabia.
That's where his value really lies.
Yes. And so they're trying to do anything they can to bring eyes to the Saudi Pro League and eyes to Saudi Arabia to convince FIFA to bring the World Cup to Saudi Arabia. They're building they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars building like ski resorts, building all of these items to try to convince them that, yes, we are headed in the right direction. Bring the World Cup here. Because, hey, you can't do it like the old days and just bribe them anymore because, hey, they actually go ahead and crack down on those people and send them to prison. So that just recently happened. I guess they're still a little angsty, those people in FIFA right now. But give them a few years. More corruption will sink back in.
True.
Yeah, but I heard Ramos, I heard Conte, I heard Modric, guys, big name players.
All on the downside, though.
Let me ask you this. As they continue to bring that in, I could very easily see with all that oil money, or because think about it, in the past, these oil sheiks have had to buy clubs in England, clubs in France, clubs all across the world. But if you build up the league at home, you don't have to buy the club outside.
Is that an appealing place to live, though?
Cristiano Ronaldo's announcement had 4 billion with the B viewers. The World Cup final had 3 billion.
Regardless of what the media tries to tell you, he's the most popular soccer player ever.
Absolutely he is. Absolutely he is. The
He's
media
got the
hates
biggest.
him.
He's got the biggest following of anyone on the planet.
Yes, he does.
The biggest following of anyone on the planet. Any person, period, on the planet. That's how big he is.
He's fantastic. You either love him or you hate him. the media hates him.
The media hates him because he can be a little impetuous and a little diva-like, but you can't deny his ability, his talent, and his work ethic, period. Cannot do it. Is he the same player? No, he's not. But he's still tremendous. He can do things with the ball that no one else can.
With that contract, there's rumors that, wouldn't it be crazy if Cristiano, when all is said and done, buys Manchester United? He's got the funds to do it if he wanted to. Not saying he does. Who knows what he wants to do transitioning away when he gets towards the tail end. But you're talking about, hey, is it a desirable place to live? Yeah, those sheiks and the big ultra wealthy live like kings over there, Grumpy. So the players, yes, I think they'd be fine with it.
Yeah, but you get a mile outside of those where those big homes are, and I mean it's a poverty city. I mean, it's not like, hey, let's go out to dinner tonight. No, that's not the way it works there. It just isn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you haven't visited certain portions of the UK. If it's, I'm not saying it's as bad, but it's not like when they're blue collar guys. They got blue collar towns just like in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I don't know. I think that I will be very interested to see what happens, right? Because Newcastle's owner, right? That hey, the state-run team buys Newcastle, and I'll be interested to see
turn around in a year. In 1 year, they turned them around.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Not even 1 year, half a year. They were in a relegation battle before they completed the purchase of the team. And in January, they were able to add up with free transfers. They were able to add up with a few transfers like Kieran Trippier. They were able to add up with a few guys, and they were able to catapult themselves from relegation battle with teams like Everton, Burnley, Leeds, etc. to, hey, now all of a sudden we finished mid-table, and this year, Champions League. Yeah, crazy what money can do.
Yeah, they've turned that team around 1 year. Great job.
The net worth of that owner is $234 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Much higher than any other owner of any football club. Before it was Manchester City, and then it was PSG at the highest net worth for the owner. Then when Manchester City was bought out, that was it. And now Newcastle, it's like multiple. It's like, but the second highest net worth is like, 10 times underneath Newcastle, 10 or 20 times underneath Newcastle's owner. So anyway, moving along, Grumpy. I figured we mentioned that up. Yes, Drew, we did get to see that he did beat up Dana White. He did beat up his wife, had a party, and out of nowhere, Dana White just slapped his. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, it's not a good look for him.
No, not.
Let's see here. Gungun, Grumpy.
Should Lala LaFleur be thrown out the door? No, I'd give him another year.
Drew. Matt LaFleur has proven to be a fraud once Davante Adams left.
Well, Davante Adams is really special.
James F. Grumpy.
So who are the other two goalies in the All-Star game? I think they do it by conference. I think they named one for each, conference, or one for each division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hallmark out of the Atlantic.
And I pray Green Bay doesn't win. They're the least deserving team to make the postseason.
Well, they're playing well down the stretch. So is Tampa Bay, right? They let Brady call plays, they score. When they let the imbecile Leftwich call plays, they don't. It's his swan song. They made the playoffs. They might beat Dallas. That's probably as far. But you see, Philadelphia is starting to implode now. You got Minnesota just finding ways to lose, getting rolled by Green Bay. I wouldn't put. Green Bay. Green Bay and Tampa would not surprise me if somehow they met in the championship game. San Francisco, I think, is the best team.
D-Cut says Penn State has top 5 recruiting class coming in this next season.
It was top 10 earlier in the podcast. Now it's top 5. By the end of
Penn State, not Michigan. Penn State.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pay attention, Grumpy. Stop watching TV, and maybe you'll catch on. Drew L. Grumpy.
I'll be honest. The only team my Giants can beat in the playoffs are the Vikings. Other than that, they're screwed. They're not great. Yeah, probably the least deserving team in the playoffs, I think.
The freaking Giants.
Nice job by Brian Daboll.
We're stuck in the land of mediocrity.
No, because they'll get a quarterback this offseason.
I don't want Lamar Jackson. I do not want Lamar Jackson.
What about Derek Carr?
I don't want Derek Carr. He's not the answer.
Well, you can still draft somebody and sign a veteran.
How often do good quarterbacks slip till 19, 20 in the draft. There's one just recently, but it's very rare, Grumpy, that a fantastic quarterback like Kenny Pickett's, they slipped that far.
Lamar Jackson went number 25, didn't he? To Baltimore.
Is Lamar Jackson a great quarterback?
No, I think he's a great athlete,
He's
great
a great
football
athlete.
player, not a great quarterback.
Great football player, not a great quarterback is right. I mean, okay, Derek Carr's
But he is a great football.
years old.
He's going to get franchise tagged by Baltimore. There's no way they don't franchise him, right? You're not letting him walk for nothing. You're not going to let that happen.
After that goal, I could see why Igor Shesterkin made it over Ilya Sorokin. Yeah, ridiculous. D-cut is ridiculous. He's ridiculous. By the way, what's your thought on Dylan Danis?
Who's Dylan Danis?
He's a mixed martial artist, I believe.
Oh.
I had to look it up. I saw that. I'm like, who the hell is Dylan Danis? Oh, he withdraws from KSI boxing match due to being underprepared. Oof.
Shouldn't you be prepared? I will say, though, if you're not prepared, that's not a sport you want to take part in.
Exactly. He backed out against KSI. I like KSI. I used to like him back when he did FIFA videos, but he's just nuts. He's a fan of freaking the midget, the marvelous midget. Blech. Joseph C. Grumpy.
The 49ers would be my safe bet to make the Super Bowl if it wasn't for Brock Purdy. Think he gets exposed in the playoffs. Yeah, his arm isn't great, but they're a quarterback away from being a championship team. They have been that way for years now. They went for crappy, then they got Lance. They should have just brought in the people's champion. They'd probably be 3-time champion going. 2 years running. The people's champion should have 15 Super Bowls at this point in time.
Goon, Grumpy.
Grumpy, what did you do to make your mom throw a cup of water in your face as you? I don't even remember. I just
You're having trouble reading tonight, Grumpy. Are you okay? Have I infected you?
Remember, I spell out all my words.
Have I infected you, Grumpy?
No, you have not.
Alexander says, "What's up, guys? Just got off of work. So sick of the mediocrity that is the Miami Dolphins. I want a new damn coach."
Now,
Whoa,
okay.
Alexander! Damn! All it took was 1 year to flip flop on.
Not even a year. It took 5 weeks. He was saying how this was the greatest coach ever. 5 straight losses. We'll make it 6 after this week. 5 straight losses, and all of a sudden he's jumping ship. What do you think the chances? The people's champion won't want to go down there now. Not with Squiggy as coach.
Not with Michael Daniels. Grumpy, let's get your attention here for the last few, Grumpy. D-cut.
Can we get Dana White to slap around lame? Maybe the team will come out and play a decent first period for once. Because, I mean, the Islanders played well the second and the third period, but the first period was so bad that, whatever. You can't come out flat. Every first period, we come out flat.
So teams around us in the Metro, Penguins, about 6 minutes left in the second period, are down 3-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights. We had the situation where the Devils lost 5-3 to the Blues today. The Hurricanes lost 5-3 to the Predators. The Capitals beat the Blue Jackets 6-2. The Flyers beat the Arizona Coyotes 6-2. The Rangers beat the Canadiens 4-1. So we really had a chance to go ahead and take a little bit of advantage of, teams like the Devils, teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins losing today or potentially losing today. And the teams like the Hurricanes losing, but no, just get rolled over.
You can just don't even look at the Hurricanes.
I know. I said it afterwards.
Never going to catch the Hurricanes. Don't even look at Boston. Don't look at Toronto. Don't look at Tampa. We don't even need to look at them.
More, I'm talking Penguins. I'm talking Devils. I'm talking teams like,
How many losses in a row is that for Pittsburgh? 5 or 6?
6.
6 losses in a row. And they're, I think, 2 points behind us with a game in hand. 6 losses in a row.
2 games in hand. Because we're playing tonight too.
Well, when they lose. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
2 games in hand still.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are 2 points behind us, 2 games in hand still. Yikes. Yikes, Grumpy.
But you got to win. I mean, I told you, I thought Edmonton would beat them. They beat the Islanders, and they're on their way. I mean, the Islanders they've certainly been the better team in the third period for the most part.
Alexander Grumpy.
Okay.
What
the hell is going on with this whole Correa situation? At this point, just let it go and go after Ohtani and Soto next season. I think Correa is overrated. I just do. I hope they don't sign him. I mean, the injury gives you an out. Just take it. Just take it. Let somebody, or say, you know what, we'll sign you on a 3-year deal for $25 million per.
And right like that, the offseason goes to disappointing. Womp womp.
Rafael Devers signed an 11-year extension with Boston.
Yeah, I saw that. Shocked, by the way, that they finally managed to not let go one of the star players as they've been doing for the last 24 months.
$30 million a year. I think Correa was, with that contract that the Mets supposedly put out there, was going to make more money than that. Do you think Carlos Correa is good a player at third base as Rafael Devers?
No way.
I don't.
No
Is
way.
he a better hitter? Nope. Is he a better fielder? Maybe.
Maybe, sure, maybe.
But is he more healthy?
No.
They're about the same. Devers gets hurt. He's dinged up a lot too. And Devers, I don't think he's going to make that 11 years, particularly as he gets older with that body type. But right now, he's a vastly superior player to Carlos Correa. He had a down year last year. He had 27 homers and 88 RBIs. Correa didn't get anywhere close to that.
Not a big fan. Not a big fan of the entire thing. It makes us look like a freaking. I just think the optics for the organization looks like a freaking shit show. James F says Sorokin in goal tomorrow. No, I think they put Varlamov in. He's back with the team. I think they put Varley in. I mean, after how many shots he's taken, right, Grumpy? When
38 shots.
How many shots?
38 shots.
Yeah.
Goalie pulled with 3 minutes to go, and Edmonton misses an empty net. Got to hit the empty net. Usually this come back to haunt you.
We have been outshot 38. We have only 21 shots on that tonight. Yikes.
And we actually picked it up.
Deacon says 4-1. Fire lame. Drew's got a comment, Grumpy.
What about Anthony Richardson? I think he's a guy who needs to sit a year or two and then plays because he's got raw potential. And it's not like the 49ers did with Trey Lance. I don't know. I don't know how good a quarterback he'd become, to be honest with you. He's another more athlete than quarterback. I like my quarterbacks. I'm not saying you have to be an in the pocket guy, but you have to be able to throw from in the pocket.
Yes, because if you could take away the ability to run and scramble and you say, oh, now you got to pass the ball, you're in freaking trouble. You know what I mean?
Lamar Jackson, right?
When they keep him in the pocket, he's miserable.
Well, he's not as good as when he's outside the pocket.
When he's in the pocket, he's miserable. If you're talking about passing accuracy, he misses about as many open receivers as a guy who's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. If you keep him in the pocket, he's fucking awful. He's a miserable quarterback when you just say, hey, we can't allow you. We're going to prevent you from rolling out. We're going to prevent you from running. Here's the thing. It's tough, really tough to do that for a team. Really, really tough. But as you get older, in your 30s, you don't have the same exact escapability and the maneuverability that you have now. He's a guy that takes a lot of hits and a lot of punishment. That's why he's out right now with injury, because he relies upon his legs too much. And he's not a big framed guy. He's a taller guy, but he's not built like a shit house like Cam Newton was, or like Josh Allen is. Those guys are built like 260 pounds.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson's not 260.
No, most quarterbacks aren't 260.
That's what I'm saying. He's not the bully on the block. He's a guy who moves and is elusive as a guy like Mike Vick, but he takes a shit ton of punishment.
But I think he's bigger than you think. It's just that he's so lanky just by his body type. But I don't think he's frail at all. But like I said, you run a lot.
6'2", 230.
Well, that's pretty good. The People's Champion is 6'4", 215.
How often is the People's Champion ever leaving that damn pocket? When somebody gets near him, he goes, he just falls to the ground at this age.
Sometimes, and he's out there
How many rushing yards does Tom Brady have this year?
I don't know, but he's got over 1,000 in his career.
I think that Lamar
It took him 25 years to get it, but he's still got over 1,000.
Oh, good gracious. About 40 yards. 40 a
Yeah.
year. Woohoo! Peyton Manning. I wonder who's got more rushing yards, him or Peyton.
That's one of his proudest accomplishment, getting 1,000 yards rushing in his career.
God almighty. And Alexander says, TJ loves trolling. I do. My little brownie Grump.
Another missed empty net. How the hell do you miss empty nets? I mean, they need Brock Nelson on their team. He's good at putting on those empty nets. Grump, what's your favorite baseball comedy movie? Fever Pitch, Major League, or other? Bull Durham. Bull Durham. I like Bull Durham.
Bull Durham that much?
Bull Durham's that's a damn good movie. Really good. And I like Major League Fever Pitch. I don't know. Bad News Bears. Bad News Bears probably my favorite baseball movie.
Bad News Bears is a good one. I
There's
like
been a lot
Fever
of
Pitch.
The
That's a good
Natural
one.
was good. I enjoyed
Yeah,
The Natural.
Natural's really good too. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, those are all better to me. Pride of the Yankees, Fever Pitch, and Major League aren't even close to those other ones I've just mentioned.
You
Bad
got
News
Tom Hagen.
Bears,
Tom Hagen is in The Natural, Grumpy.
A League of Their Own.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I mean, there's been a lot of good baseball movies. What was Tom Hagen? Which movie?
Tom Hagen was in The Natural.
Robert Duvall. That's right. He was.
Yeah,
He was
as-
the
as-
reporter.
as a
Max
reporter.
Mercy. He was a reporter. Max Mercy. Yep.
Yeah, Tom Hagen was there, Grumpy, doing work.
That was a really, really good movie.
I feel like if you're looking at sports movies, I feel baseball probably produces the best sports movies, holistic from start to finish.
Yes.
I don't know who would be next. Maybe then football. I don't think hockey does a great job. Hockey, maybe?
No, I don't.
Everything else is like freaking. It's like freaking ramen noodles and hot dogs.
Boxing
compared to baseball
movies. Boxing movies are good.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Boxing movie, sure.
You can because you can write a lot of stories about boxers.
Yeah.
That matter of fact, boxing might even be better than baseball. But boxing and baseball are the top two. Football doesn't really translate because
Neither
the
is
action is
hockey,
just different.
NBA. Hockey, we have guilty pleasures because we love the sport, but just
Right.
trying to take that out of it. I mean, like, yeah. I think another reason is when you're football, when you're hockey, when you're NBA, there's a lot more of actually watching the action on the actual playing surface. When you're boxing, when you're baseball, there's not as much of that. You can build a lot more of the actual story than a lot more of the actual film of the surface.
There's also a new movie coming out in February about the People's Champion.
What is that called? How I Kissed My 13-Year-Old Child Still in the Lips?
No, it's based on a true story. Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, Lily Tomlin, Sally Field, and the People's Champion and Gronk are in it.
Oh, is that the one? Ugh.
It's about these women going to Super Bowl and watching the People's Champion win yet another one.
It's like the old ladies trip or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know the name. Here's the thing: is it going to be good? Probably not. Is it going to be watchable? Absolutely, because they're all good actresses, so they'll carry that show. Jane Fonda's had a lot of damn work done, and when you're like in your 70s, why the hell are you getting work done?
It's called 80 for Brady.
80 for Brady. That's it. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know why anybody gets work done on their face, dude. You're getting old. You're getting old. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Drew says here, Kenny Pickett would be better if Matt Canada didn't exist. Well, the funny thing is, too, Matt Canada was coaching, I believe. I think he was still at the University of Pittsburgh the first year Kenny Pickett was quarterback. So Kenny Pickett does have some familiarity with Matt Canada before he went then to LSU as an offensive coordinator, and then he kind of bounced around a bit. But yeah, Matt Canada's bounced all over God's creation. He was an offensive coordinator for Pittsburgh for 1 year. I don't remember if that overlapped with Kenny Pickett's first year. Alexander Grumpy.
The hell is with this Islanders team? They dominate one night, then look like absolute garbage the next. Okay, the one thing is they play poor in the first period, and Edmonton's a better team than Vancouver. Vancouver sucks.
Yeah,
and awful. Vancouver had mystery meat in goal.
Martin.
Dan Clutter actually scored. Is the sky falling?
Oh,
it was a nice tip. He just kind of threw his stick down as it was coming past, deflected it past.
D-Cut does have an answer for us.
There is still time to save the season. Rehire Trotz, demote Lame, fire Mac.
Oh, God. He ran Tran on wide receiver. No, he ran train with the wide receiver coach. D-Cut says, effing echo, TJ. Oh, God. And move on, you bald-headed jerk.
Now, D-Cut, I have to know if you're follically challenged on top as well. Because you wear the hat. You don't look like you're bald, but people are saying that you are.
Before he shaved his head, he said, I'm speaking from experience. Do it. He told us a while ago.
Okay.
Joseph C. says here, his last name is perfect for the situation. Boutte at the sex party. Oh, there it is.
At the sex A.
Lane Stanley is the lead of Alice in Chains. Rest in peace. Okay. There it is. Oh, Adrian.
Yo, Adrian.
You say
Yo, Adrian. Right, TJ? Adrian, right, TJ?
Yo, Adrian.
Adrian.
Yo, Adrian. What's up, Adrienne? Hopefully you're doing well.
Yes.
Drew Grumpy.
I'm not going to lie. I'm in agreement with Skip Bayless. Did nothing wrong as far as that tweet. It was just horrible timing. I don't know what he said.
It was very not good timing is right. It was like as he was still, I think, like in transportation from the from the ambulance to the hospital, is talking about, well, this is going to cause an issue with the scheduling. I'm like, buddy,
What's wrong with that?
It wasn't good. Okay, I'm not depicting it. I don't remember reading it. I'll pull it up here in a second. D-Cut Grumpy.
They did, TJ. Go check your Twitter. NFL announced around 9:15. You bullheaded jerk. I sent you a DM on it.
We were obviously doing the show at that time, but Drew L. Grumpy.
I think I just had the craziest CPU versus CPU franchise game. All right, Drew, I'm not reading that anymore. I'm telling y'all, they're sticking with Jones on a short-term deal, whether you like it or not. Give Daniel Jones some legitimate weapons, then we'll see if he's truly the answer or not. The Giants they have the running back. Their offensive line is better. It still can use some work. Their wide receiver group is not good. Their tight end group is pedestrian at best. He is not the answer at quarterback. Agreed. What did Brian Daboll do this year? He ran the ball a lot more a la Josh Allen, a la Josh Allen. That's why I say it would not surprise me at all, unless Jackson gets franchise tagged, that they go after Lamar Jackson. Yikes. I just think he'd be good for what Brian Daboll does.
Yikes. And Drew, saying that we got to put some weapons around him to see if Daniel Jones is the answer. That's like the logic that Tua fans used to use. We got to put more weapons around him and a better offensive line and a legitimate coach and a great defense to see how he is. No. You could see that Daniel Jones does not have the ability and the talent to be do you think, let me ask you this, Drew. Does Daniel Jones, do you think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL?
No.
His turnovers, I think, are always like top 10. He's always turning the ball over left and right. Apple turnover, might as well call him. And whether he's fumbling, throwing.
Big apple turnover.
Big apple turnover. Yeah. He's not the answer. Daniel freaking Jones. Yikes. No way.
No, he's not the answer. Drew also says, I kind of miss blue-pilled Alexander. He was a much more positive person. Yeah, see, that's what happens, though. When it's easy to be gung-ho for your team, but when things start getting real,
Oh, my gosh.
Drew also says, here we see a wild TJ having a roast D-Cut because TJ is sick and tired of the ball jokes.
No, he has told us before. D-Cut said, I shave my head around 34, Grumpy. Okay. I have had, I have hair, I just buzz it down. Saves time in the morning. Okay. Yeah, he told us that. He said
but that still doesn't. Maybe he just likes it short. Maybe he just likes a buzz cut. It didn't say he was bald.
Maybe I'll get my hair shorter and shorter. The older I'm getting, my hair gets shorter and shorter.
Not me. I'm never doing that.
Grumpy hanging on for dear life.
TJ clearly skipping my meme comment.
Oh, I'll look it up. Hold on a second. I'll get that here. Drew L's got another comment there. Let me see.
Daniel Jones is better than Tua. Oh, he's not. I don't want to imagine what he was if he was in Miami. No. Here's the thing. I don't think Tua is the answer. He's just, bumping his head on a cabinet of being out of the league. But he's still a better player than Daniel Jones.
This says here, Matt Rule seeing Brian Daboll. Oh, shit. Why do I have this up here? I put the wrong damn one. Sorry. Matt Rule seeing Brian Daboll turn the Giants around in one season. Let's see what it says here.
Somebody tell me. Do you hear me? Somebody tell me how he did it. I have to know.
Didn't Matt Rule sign somewhere else already?
He's already in Nebraska. Yeah.
Man, because I'll tell you what, I thought he would have been a nice fit for Michigan.
He's a good college coach.
He is a really good college coach.
And here's the thing. He coached for a smaller college team, Baylor. Okay. I always thought that hire was an odd one. It was a bold one, but one that didn't pan out, in the end. Got a funny one of Steve Sarkisian. We're talking about bowl games. You want to talk about another loser of of public image, Grumpy? Steve Sarkisian doesn't do a great job here. I'll let you watch. It's a little 14-second long clip. Not a good look for Steve Sarkisian, Grumpy. So we got here. The guy's like, back up, back up, back up. I don't know. I don't think you need to be a lip reader to read what he's saying, Grumpy.
The only worst coaching look in Texas was Chris Beard, who was finally let go today from the Texas Longhorn basketball program after felony domestic violence charges against him. Took him a month to get rid of him, but they finally did.
Yeah, I cannot believe it took him that long. But Steve Christ, he's like, "Don't you fucking touch me!" And he's flipping his shit right in his face. I'm like, dude, relax, man. All right, calm down. You're not playing, buddy. You're the head coach. You'd like to think that you're a little bit more calm and mild tempered, so you can make wise decisions on the field. But Jesus, he got right in his face. You like how the guy who like that's the guy who controls like, hey, what we're doing to make
this is before the game.
Yes, this is before they run out here. You like how he doesn't bat?
Yeah, well, he keeps pushing him. He keeps, get your hands off of me.
Okay,
shit dust.
Back the fuck up. Back up, buddy.
He was telling everybody, back up. Keep your hands off of me, TV boy. Yeah, it's like, okay, back. And then he says, keep.
What? Okay, somebody's
touching me, motherfucker. Good for Steve Sarkisian. I like him more now than I do.
Oh, stop! You're freaking absurd. You're ridiculous, Grumpy.
That's
Come
it.
on.
It's like, what the?
He flips his shit on him. Oh man! I laughed my ass off when I first saw this, Grumpy.
I like it.
Now the comments on this one are great too. Hold on a second, because they're obviously clowning. They said, "I'd never let him or effer who dresses like this."
Oh, is that a Burger King outfit?
That's him. I saw that outfit. I was like, "What a shitty outfit! What a shitty fit."
That's not a good look. It looks like he's a night manager at Burger King or something.
He looks like who the hell is that actor, Grumpy? I'm thinking of.
I don't know.
Pacino, maybe.
Oh my God, I don't know. What, from Godfather 3?
I don't know. It's not a good look. Whatever it was, not a good look. Not a good look from Steve.
Okay, Chris Beard was worse though.
For certain he was. How the hell did he keep his job as long as he did too? Here it is. You've got guys like the Celtics where it's like you had sex with somebody.
A consensual relationship with some lady.
A consensual relationship with somebody else, but you were being infidelitous. So, or if that's a word. Infidelitis. Philosophizing.
I don't think that's a word.
I don't think it is either. After it came out of my mouth, I'm like, that's not a word.
Infidelity.
But, you were having sex outside your marriage, and you're suspended from a year of coaching. This son of a bitch, felony domestic assault of domestic violence is like, man,
I'm gonna roll it out there for another month.
We're gonna suspend you. We're gonna make sure if we can avoid this and this dies down, we want you playing. We still want you as our coach.
At least they let it play out a little bit. They probably should have put him on leave while it was being investigated. Because I don't think a guy should get fired until all the facts come out. I don't believe in that. But if they come out that he did it, he needs to go. And I guess they figured out he did. The worst thing is overreacting to stuff like that, because it can ruin his reputation, cost him a job. You want to make sure that it's true. And I guess they found out it was true. So, bye-bye, Chris.
Okay, hold on. D-Cut, he said he sent his picture. He said it's okay to show. Let me see here. Blue shorts. Oh, that's why too. Maybe because I've seen D-Cut with that hat on before, Grumpy.
Oh, see, I never have.
Hold on a second.
TJ, look at the smile on his face. Getting ready to put up a bald D-Cut picture. Look at the smile. Look at the smirk. He's got the smirk going. Go ahead, put the picture up. I know you want to. Go ahead.
Yeah, look at him, Grumpy. There's D-Cut right there, Grumpy.
Oh, who's the a whole bunch of there's a lot of hair in the middle.
There's Jay Rich the troll. There's Jay Rich the troll, Grumpy, and there's D-Cut.
All right. See, it looks like D-Cut's got hair, just like he looks like he just buzzes it. That's all. I don't know who the girl is, but she was the most appealing person in that party.
Two baldies and a lady. So anyway, D-Cut says send it is okay to show. My Little Brownie, Grumpy.
To be fair, I did ask for a comedy movie. That's true. For a non-specific genre baseball movie. Okay, I voted 42.
That's right. That's another great one too.
8 Men Out and Pride of the Yankees. A baseball movie.
Oh yeah, Pride of the Yankees too. Hey, what's 8 Men Out?
Pride of the Yankees. 8 Men Out is about the Chicago White Sox scandal, starring
Ooh,
John Cusack, David Strathairn, lot of actors. I think it was from the 80s.
I've never seen
Really
that.
good movie though. But for comedy, I got to go Bull Durham then, or like I said, Bad News Bears. Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears is good.
I'm going with Bad News Bears because it's must watch for anyone who ever wants to coach young children. Must watch.
Paul O.C. says here, Youngblood and Slapshot were good hockey movies.
Also, Miracle was really good, and Mystery Alaska was good.
Yeah, Mystery Alaska is pretty good too. Yeah,
Mystery Alaska was really good.
Was hilarious. Yep, he says Mighty
Mighty
Ducks,
Ducks.
Miracle on Ice. Yeah, Miracle on Ice is a great one. Yeah, I think it has a big effect for us because we all have known and we hear about it all the time. And even if you weren't alive to see that game, you still understand the impact it had. And I think that's why for Americans it means so much.
So I was going to say, I said it's probably more popular in America than it is like in Russia or China. I think it's blacklisted in Russia.
Yeah,
Who knows? But it's not like that's going to have like a lot of
Russian appeal.
a lot of overseas revenue. Let's just put it to you that way.
Andrew L says, Grumpy, have you heard of a sleep stream? You should give it a shot.
I don't know what a sleep stream is.
I think you stream yourself when you're sleeping. No, not a fan of that.
Never done that.
D-Cut says, Rookies was a good hockey movie. Never seen that one.
I never seen Rookies.
I have
The
my guilty
Rookie.
pleasure.
I
My
saw The
guilty-
Rookie was a baseball movie, but not Rookies. I don't think I heard that one.
The underhand. Whoop. And he strikes out on the underhand pitch. D-Cuts. I like one of those guilty pleasure movies I've got is The Goon.
The Goon, yeah.
Oh my God, Grumpy would hate a sleep stream. Laughing my ass off. I don't know what that means. I got to figure this out. And what's up, Frank? How are you?
Frank, I'm so happy that we could say hello because now we're saying goodnight.
So a sleep stream involves people on TikTok and Twitch streaming live videos of themselves sleeping while viewers pay to engage in different virtual attempts to wake them up. Oh God.
What the hell?
So you
Good
just
luck.
sleep.
I don't go to sleep till late, and I don't sleep. Sometimes I sleep okay, sometimes not. When I'm asleep, I'm freaking asleep, though.
Man, Grumpy, we are here at the end of the show today. What do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ and a grumpy old man.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show this evening. Oh, I feel like there's one thing I'm missing. Maybe we covered it all. We got it all covered. But thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show. We'll be live this Sunday with you, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great Saturday. Have a great Friday. Have a great last day of the week. The weekend's on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen. You could see it, sunshiny and shining its little face out here. But thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. We'll see you guys this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again, as always, Grumpy.
My pleasure. Maybe we'll know what the playoff picture is going to be in the NFL.
Hopefully. But until then, thank you again, Grump.
My pleasure.